You are frozen. So are you going to be that way the whole time, or do you need to get back out and come back in?
Yeah, let's try that. Let me turn off my.
Where's Hanekawa?
All right, I'm gonna jump off and get back on.
Okay.
Try again.
There you are. Okay. Well, Hannah, I'm waiting on Hanekawa, but so, yeah, I was hoping she'd be on before. Wait, stop for a second.
Yeah.
You're wearing a Capitals jersey, which is great. Go Caps. But you were drinking out of a cup that's the Cowboys? No,
Absolutely.
I can't. I can't. But you're lucky it's not football season. But you know what season it is?
What?
It's March Madness.
Oh, yeah. My friends were making bets yesterday.
Okay, well,
betting
I was
place.
just watching a Sweet 16 game, San Diego State Aztecs versus the Alabama Tide. And guess who won that game?
Who won? I don't even know.
My Aztecs.
Oh, nice.
That's my alma mater.
Nice.
So go Aztecs. First time in school history, first time in Mountain West Conference history that a Mountain West team has made it to the Sweet 16. Now,
that's awesome.
I said this at my house before, and I will say it again here. I did call San Diego State to win overall everything.
Did you make any bets?
No.
Yeah, I was like, didn't put money on it.
I know, like all my friends were betting yesterday.
I mean, I who would I bet? Like my husband. I mean,
well, now you know. Well, you're in Virginia. I was about to say Maryland has online bets now.
Well, yeah, I could do. Well, I could. I mean, yeah, they there's online and all that stuff.
Oh, you said bet against your husband. I thought you were saying bet your husband, like he would be the prize.
No, like I mean, he gets like I already pay him in blowjobs. Like I don't. He's my producer too, so
you can rent him out for a night. It's nothing.
Sometimes when I need a quick turnaround, I have, I
have to quickly turn around.
I do. I'll throw down a little extra, here and there.
Oh boy,
you know what I'm saying. But anyway, welcome to Fat Friday. This is actually going to come out on a Saturday, but we're recording it on a Friday, so it's technically Fat Friday. We have the gang all here. Hanekawa's here, Lexi's here, and we have a special guest that we're about to introduce. We're gonna go into some interview stuff, and then this person's gonna help join us as we talk about some of the Fat Friday episodes, the 1,000-Pound Sisters and my 600-Pound Life. And without further ado, I present to you straight from his appearance on My 600-Pound Life, we have Chris P, also known as Chrispy.
Chrispy, how you doing?
Welcome.
Hi, Chris.
Welcome. And yes, I slid into his DMs too.
Look how it's working out for us. Look how it's working
slip and slide.
Something like that.
Something like that. It is Friday night. Hanekawa's here with fresh from Hanekawa's Pinky Cafe, and we're gonna have ourselves a night tonight. So Chris has agreed to come on and talk to us about his appearance on the show and some other things, and I don't know how much of like the show stuff you want to get into before we move into like the thing that we were going to talk about, because I want to set that up. I want to make sure I set that up for our audience.
So they know
what it is you're referring to. So why don't you just tell us about your appearance on the show? Like, I mean, I know you listened to our episode about you, so I said some not great things about you. It is what it is. Lexi loved you. Hanekawa was sick, so we don't have her opinion on you at this point. But, so talk to me.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of people just kind of fill in their blanks however they see fit, because there's a lot of things that are left open, like Lanny calling me stepdad, and like the whole mom thing. Like everybody thinks mom's the greatest, which I mean, yeah, mom's okay, but I mean, I don't even know where to start, because there's just so much. Like I basically was in the worst place of my life, and I reached out to Megalomedia, which is who does all the casting and everything for it. And they got back to me 6 months later, and they were like,
6
hey,
months later.
yeah, 6 months later. I forgot about it,
6
honestly. I was
months.
just like, sent it. And then it was like within a month of them getting back to me, it was go time.
Wow. Okay. So a month. So you go in, and now I don't have the notes. Lexi, you have the notes. I forget how, like, what your starting weight was when you went in, and like, talk to us about what your mindset was going into it versus like after your first weigh-in.
Yeah. So my original reason for doing it was to get the surgery. Like, that was the whole point. I was getting fast tracked to the surgery. This show was the option. And I was all for it. That's what I wanted. And that essentially, that's how it all started. That was the whole reason for me starting the show. And I honestly, I don't even know where to kind of go from there. It started, and I started at 630 pounds. I actually weighed in at 620 on the show, because when they finally showed up to start everything, I kind of started the diet then. Like, in my mind, I was ready to go. So I started it right away.
Started the process. You had started the 1,200 calorie a day diet, which,
yeah, I just started reducing my food like as soon as I got there. Plus, I was afraid to have to take a crap on the way there, because I mean, it's pretty terrible to need to do that on the way, So that kind of jump started the weight loss. And yeah, it was 630 was my start. And then they weighed me in at 620 when I was there.
Okay, so you get into the process, and they give you the weight loss goal, and then you take it upon yourself to start doing this fasting program. Okay. And we talked about this on our episode of, when we talked about this, we had just sort of just conflicting, I don't know if it was opinions we just talked about various things surrounding this, because we've all done some fasting in some regard. And I know there's lots of different rules out there. I don't know a ton. I think Hanekawa knows more than I do. Far more than I do in that regard. But you took it upon yourself to do 5 days fasting, and then Dr. Now said, don't do that, just fast overnight, like eat your last meal at 6, fast overnight, and whatever. Talk me through that. What was your decision making process on that? And then when Dr. Now tried to set you straight there.
So when they come to like do the filming, like, you end up with a lot of groceries in your house. So before I went to Houston, I had KJ and Rob just come empty the house of food. So when I came back, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna start over. And then when I got back, I was like, I'm just gonna fast. And I did. I actually became slightly obsessed with fasting. At a point there where I actually went 14 days without eating. I just drank water for 14 days.
Jesus.
Wow.
And I ended up stopping that because I was playing VR with KJ, and I got like really, really sick. And it just like all hit me at once. And then I ate like half a can of beef raviolis, and it made my stomach sick, but I got like my energy back immediately.
Beef ravioli.
Because that's all I had. That's the only thing I had in the house was one can of beef raviolis.
So I don't know, you sound like me. I mean, I'm an alcoholic in recovery, and so my thought process is always, if 1 is good, 10 is better, right? So I kind of understand that, like, oh well, fasting for 1 day is good, why don't I just do it for 2 or 3 or see how far I can go? Like,
exactly.
I get that mentality. Although I said this when we were recording and stuff as well, and I think it maybe shows up a little bit later, but I was starting to say that you were going down the road towards disordered eating disorders, what people want to call it. Am I completely off the mark there?
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, honestly, I started becoming obsessed with that, like, because you don't lose weight any faster than just not eating. It's just not possible. So I just would not want to eat, and then I had to keep talking myself back into the lifestyle change instead of this extreme crash diet that I was doing. And I went back and forth. Eventually I got kind of down to a couple days of fasting, a couple days of eating, a couple days of fasting. Like, when I talked about it, I just kind of gave him solid numbers to the doctor, because it wasn't as static as 5 on 5 off. And I had my mess ups, I'd have my days where I would have food, but I knew in my head it was what I did most of the time, not some of the time, is how I was going to get to where I wanted to be. And that I still hold to that today. And I still have times where I start fasting and I just want to keep going. Like I'll be on day 3, I'll wake up like on day 4 and I'll be like, I just keep doing this. And then like KG will be like, no, you need to eat today. Or somebody like, it'll just kind of hit me and I'll be like, all right, I'll eat. Because it can become obsessive.
I have a question for you with that. Did you see any sort of nutritionist? I know Dr. Now gave you his book and he gave you guidelines as far as how to eat and what to eat. But did you get any sort of extra support on that?
No. Okay. It's once I knew what I was doing, I kind of, when I want to learn about something, I can get hyper focused on it. And I really wanted to know everything there was about how food affects the body. And that's what I dove into.
I know, I just said that.
I'm pretty sure.
We all are here.
No, that's like kind of a trait though. You can tunnel in on something.
Yeah. I get like but then there's also the bad side of that for me is when I'm not hyper focused on it, it's really, really difficult to do. And that's kind of where I've learned over the last year to continue doing this forcefully, even when I can't stand it. Yeah. And that's how I've gotten where I'm at now.
That's something that I've had to make adjustments for when I quit drinking. And it was like 7 years later that I was 7 years into sobriety that I was diagnosed with the ADHD. And so it's only like now it's manifesting in a way that I need to learn some better, I'm not motivated. I don't have enough dopamine today. Like I'm in search of dopamine. My husband texted me something today. He's like, where are you? I was like, oh, I'm out searching for dopamine. Don't mind me. So before we talk about where you are now, because you look fantastic,
Thank you.
by the way. There was other stuff in your episode that I wanted to ask you about, the family therapy session. Now you said at the beginning, everybody loved mom, and we were talking about this and I don't know how much of this was during the show, like online, or whether we were talking about this offline, but your mom did seem like she was there for you and she was trying to be there for you in a way that she wasn't before. But with what you said kind of was like, okay, well, maybe there's something else going on there. And you had said on the show, she's great at first, but then she tapers off.
Yeah.
Talk me through a little bit of that relationship and how that was sort of manifesting during this part of your journey.
Yeah. So like, I'll start with this. Mom was the last option that I had because I had to have somebody come out there with me. Sorry, Mom. I love you. I'm sure you hear this, but you were the last option. And I'm sure if you look in at how you've been and everything, that's how it was. It was the only option that I had. I'm glad I reconnected with her. I have nothing wrong with that. But she was the last one because my mom's, and I think they actually put this in the show, if it's in front of her and there's an issue and it's for family, she will go all out. But as soon as she can't see that issue, it's no longer there. It's not a thing that she worries about. It's just not at the front of her mind. It's not that she doesn't care. It's just if she's not constantly reminded about that thing that she should care about. And that's washed to me for a long time. And it was a habit and a trait that I had to get rid of myself in order to be able to forgive her for her being that way. And me, I'll never go any amount of time or my daughter ever has to think if I'm going to call her. Like I will always call her. I'll always be there. The whole time I was in Texas, I drove back here every single month to see her.
And here being Oklahoma, right?
Yeah, here in Oklahoma. Like just know, and I think all parents should do that. And I had a lot of resentment from my mom because of that. And the past and the things that we've done together. Like I used to be addicted to hard drugs with her for several years. That also didn't make it in the show, so there's a lot of history there.
Interesting. That's as an addict myself, I'm like, that's like a whole other thing. That is really, that opens up a whole can of things. As somebody with mommy issues myself too, it's I get that. So what we saw on the show, we saw her being there for you and stuff. Did she continue to be there for you, or was that just for show on the for the cameras, or was she actually being there for you?
Well, she's a mirror. So her and my brother are mirrors of what I do. If I mess up, they're going to mess up. If I want something bad, they want something bad. If I'm doing good, they're always there to support me in what I'm doing, literally. Like no matter what I'm doing, they're there to support me. But if I'm not doing the right thing, she just doesn't have it to force that right thing. Like when I was in Texas, like I wanted Taco Bell once and I shouldn't have had it, but nobody to tell me no. And I ended up having it, and I knew it would be okay. I knew I'd get back on track, but it just needed somebody to say, hey, that's not a good idea. But it was like, oh, okay, yeah, we can do that tonight. Those types of things, and just not being there when things are hard and just folding all of the time.
Now
And
you're currently living with your mom, right? Or was she living with you or not?
yeah, her and my brother are here now, because when we moved back, we moved back as quickly as we could. So we all stayed here, and then they're going to be getting their own place.
Okay. So you guys are all there in Oklahoma.
And it is chaotic, yes.
Okay. Well, you're gonna get into a lot of that chaos that didn't make the show. I take it for there's reasons that this other stuff didn't make the show. But before we get into all of that, one of the things that I didn't, that I took issue with you is this, I called you this, entitled mediocre white man syndrome. You start to have a little success on your own. You think you know better than the doctor. You're like, screw you, I'm going to do it on my own, which you were killing it. I mean, no question about it. You were killing it. But there's a lot of questions I have that come from that is, first of all, why did you decide to do this? Why were you, putting off the surgery? Why were you not having the surgery? Why did you go to him if you weren't going to listen to him? If he's the one that's got the expertise and you don't, why go to him if you're not going to listen to him? And then since then, have you had the surgery, or are you on track to, or are you considering it? So that's like multiple parts.
I was actually waiting to put a video out for this, like, because this is like literally, aside from my relationship status, this is the other big question. They're like hand in hand, because there's a lot of people that are just mad at me, and then some people are like, oh, he's just doing it for fame, and it's like neither of those are correct. When you go to Texas as a single male, unless you have a major disability, you do not get Medicaid. You cannot get insurance. They don't help you, nothing. I tried all that stuff because like I was on the verge of actually becoming permanently disabled. Nobody wants to pay hospitals if you have insurance. So there's kind of a whole process there to try to get stuff like that, to see if you'll pay for it. I can't say what the show does or does not.
We know they don't pay for your surgery.
I can tell you that I could have gotten the surgery.
Okay.
100%. But it went to a point where I thought the thing that I went there for was I couldn't get. Because I was like, well, I can't get insurance. I couldn't afford to get like Obamacare or any of those external insurances. So I genuinely thought that I couldn't get it. And that kind of put me into, I almost started spiraling out. I was like, well, this thing that I came here for that I can now not get. So I changed my track of mind, because I still wanted the changes more than to fall into failure. I stayed up one night for I was like 10 hours just laying in bed thinking about it. And I woke up the next day. I was like, I've already come this far. I've already lost this much weight. I'm like 6 or 7 months into this. And why am I going to stop now? I've been doing this all myself the whole time. I've already learned everything I needed for the surgery to get it, like all that stuff, because I got approved really quick. And I was just like, I can do this on my own. And then I was absolutely confident I could do it on my own. And then all I got was people telling me that I couldn't. I'm not going to say who, but I had somebody actually tell me that if you get the surgery, you're going to lose weight 3 times faster than you are now, and you're going to be your healthiest self. I was losing a significant amount, like I already had surgery, like at that time. And it made me so mad. And then I had other sources telling me that, you have to get it. You're going to fail. The chances are just, you can't, it's impossible. And it's like, as long as there's a 1% chance and I control the whole chance of that, that's 100% for me. And that it just solidified it for me.
Okay. So, I mean, I can understand that. Are you still at that point? Like, where are you mentally now? Are you open to considering surgery, maybe under different circumstances, different doctor, maybe something like that? Do you think you're going to need it? Like, where are you at now with that?
Yeah, we'll see. Well, I'll say it wasn't the doctor. The doctor didn't tell me that. Doctor now was extremely supportive of my options. Once he knew I was serious, 100% support the whole way.
Okay.
but I still feel exactly the same. I'm still losing weight. Like I did my weigh in today, which I'm at 355 today. So
Excellent.
just this week, I lost 3 pounds this week. It's not a high, but I also did eat some things this week that I don't eat all the time. I had a pizza on Tuesday. You know, I've had some things that, you know, but I still had loss, which is easy because I'm still big. But I'm still dead set on doing it myself. If I fail, I start gaining weight or going backwards, I'll be right there getting the surgery without a doubt.
Well, I think too, Katrina and I were talking in the last episode, which you listened to, and we were kind of debating why you didn't get the surgery. I know Katrina said she thought it was like more maybe a fear-based thing.
Mhm.
I said no, I think he just wants to do it on his own. But do you have any sort of fear
No,
about
I actually
the
have
surgery?
I have an opposite issue for medical stuff. I could be dying and I won't go to the hospital, or I could go to the hospital and I'm just not afraid of anything they need to do. Like I just don't have concerns for what they're going to do. Like where people go and they have concerns, I don't have them. And I think that's just as unhealthy as being afraid of things that you need. Like the skin surgery, as soon as I get to that, cut me up. I know there's pain, whatever. I want it. You know, I
Yeah.
want that.
Are you allowed to talk about how long it took you to lose the weight? Because what we saw on the show, was it accurate to what actually happened, or are you not allowed to talk about
So
editing?
questions like this, I've read over a lot of stuff, and how I would answer those is I'll tell you everything that I did, and then you kind of put it together. So my first doctor's visit was in February of last year, and we moved back. We're coming out almost at the end of 2 months. I've been back in Oklahoma. So to kind of give you a time frame there. So my first weigh in was February. The 620 pounds was February of last year.
Okay. Gotcha.
And then there's like some time there on off. Now the last 3 months, I have maintained my weight. Maintaining your weight is honestly just as important as losing your weight. But my reason for maintaining was because I wanted to create a seamless transition from the show into social media platforms, because I want people to know that it is possible. I had so much pushback and people saying that it's not. If you have someone like me who's on the verge of maybe being able to do it on their own, but everybody on the internet says that you can't, then they're probably not going to be able to do it on their own, because unfortunately people listen to social media.
Yeah. Are you on Reddit a lot? Because I got on your
Yes.
episode and was reading it. I mean, there were a lot of supportive people on there, but of course there's always the few that are just mean, and you know,
Reddit
it's
blew my
but-
mind. There was
Yeah.
so much support from
There
Reddit.
was.
Like honestly, I thought I was on the wrong website. Like
You and
I
Wes
was not in
both.
the right
Wes had a
place.
lot, yeah, Wes got a lot of
got a-
good.
Yeah.
My inbox on every social media platform that I use is just exploded with people. Like every video I post on TikTok, everything I put up on Instagram, my DMs, the comments, like it's just completely opposite. Like I've been watching the show and going to Reddit and seeing this stuff for years, and it complete 180 of what I expected.
Yeah.
Interesting. So was there anything more with like the family dynamic that we saw this, you know, family therapy, you know, episode or whatever, and you talked a little bit about your relationship with your mom and your brother and stuff. Was there significant stuff they left out of that? Was it an ongoing thing? Have you continued therapy with Dr. P or no?
You know, they just had me go to one session. I basically went to one. I couldn't afford like more sessions or anything. So
they made you pay for the one?
No. I didn't pay for that.
I was gonna say, okay.
I'm not supposed to say yes or no, but I mean, I
No,
couldn't afford it. So I couldn't afford it. So, but no, I honestly, Dr. Paradise I enjoy learning things about myself, and I really like other people's perspectives on different life situations. And he actually taught me something about myself that I didn't know, that I have a habit of running from situations when I feel like I'm not wanted. And that was like a really big thing there. Cause I grew up in Vegas. I moved to Ohio, then I moved to Rhode Island, and now I'm in Oklahoma. And when I look back, every single one of those was me escaping a place that I felt like I wasn't wanted. And I've just done that like my whole life in smaller and larger scenarios. And he pointed that out and explained it to me. And I was like, holy shit, I didn't know that. That makes sense.
I love Dr. Paradise. I love him. And I actually know somebody who lives there who's one of his patients. And just loves him. So that's good to hear. I always like hearing that, you know, you don't want to hear that he turns out to be an asshole.
Yeah. That was one of my questions too. I was curious to know about how much time you spent with him and if you were currently in therapy, but you said you're not.
Yeah, I would go to therapy if I could, because
Mhm.
I like getting up until a point where I stop learning about myself, then I would completely lose interest in it. As long
Yeah.
as I can point things out to me that I didn't see or give me a new perspective on life, I absolutely would love to keep going. I like all of that stuff.
I did have a question about your other siblings. So you have your brother that we saw on the show, and do you have other siblings? Because that was one of my questions. I'm assuming
Yeah,
that I saw that.
I'm the only child of my two parents, and then my mom has Tommy and Crystal with their dad.
Okay.
And then on my dad's side, I have Franklin, which is my other brother. He lives in Vegas. And then I have Leaf, Robert, and Sarah, which is their stepbrothers and a stepsister.
Okay, because I was curious because we didn't see them on the show. I didn't know if they were still in your life or what was going on.
I mean, they're in my life on social media. I talk to some of them here and there, but I've been very disconnected from my family. Like the only family in Oklahoma, it's me, KJ, Rob, and the kids. Like that's all that's ever been out here until my mom and Tommy came out.
Can I ask what happened between you and your mom that you didn't speak for that long? Because we saw Zoe meeting your mom for the second time, I believe, on
Yeah.
the show. And it was heartwarming to see her get to meet her grandmother, but I was like, my heart kind of sunk in a way.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man,
Yeah, you were
she
like,
missed
that
out
sucks.
on. Yeah, she missed
You
out
only
on
met
so
her
much.
twice, and you're like, yeah, that sucks.
If you want to. I mean, anything
Oh,
we
yeah,
ask,
no.
like if you don't feel comfortable.
Absolutely. Well, and she'll hear this too. So I mean, I want her to hear it. So
Hi, Mom.
Yeah,
hi, Mom.
Is she there? Does she want to come on?
Yeah. No, she'd be like, oh, I'm sick. Her hair's not done. She'd make up a million excuses.
my no makeup here. Whatever.
Yeah, I got no makeup on. Hanekawa was a picture, for God's sakes. I mean, come on.
You know, Mom is she never made any attempt to want to see her. Like the only reason why she met her once before, my best friend Kathy, who lives in Vegas, like we grew up together. We just hadn't seen each other for a while, and I was like, well, my grandma wanted to come visit, so she came. We drove from Oklahoma to Vegas. We rented a car, and then while we we're in Vegas, I was like, okay, well, you can meet Zoe. And then I literally took everybody. I was making like really good money, so I could just do this kind of stuff at the time. And I took everybody to dinner, like the whole family, people I haven't seen in like years. And then after that, still nobody reached out and said anything. Like I did all of that so everybody could come together. And then nobody ever reached out and was like, hey, except I take that back. My stepbrother Leaf, he still reaches out, asks how I'm doing and stuff like that. So shout out to him. But everybody else, nobody would reach out like that. Not even my mom. So if you don't want to talk to me, I'm not going to make the extra effort to do the same. And that's just kind of how it went. And it just stayed like that for years and years and years. Like, oh, it's someone's birthday or Christmas. And then, everybody makes those round of phone calls that are pretty much meaningless to me if that's the only time that you call.
Have you had a discussion with your mother about this? Or is this the first time she's hearing you?
Yeah. We talked about some of that in Dr. Paradise's meeting.
Okay.
Like during therapy and everything. But it's kind of like, oh, it's a big thing now, but then as soon as it's over and that conversation's gone, it just seems like it doesn't matter anymore. Everything goes back to the way it is.
Okay. I liked his homework he gave you to have her be a motherly figure, cook, do things that you didn't get a chance to do growing up.
Yeah.
How was that for you?
That was weird. Nobody does anything for me. Like since I've been back here, like, which I guess I saved some of that for like the whole relationship thing, but like there's somebody that does something for me now, and it's the first person that's done anything for me that I feel grateful and not guilty. Aww. And because like when people do things for me, I feel guilty. Like you need, like to the point where I get upset or mad. Like you need to not do that. I'm fine. I can take care of it. And that's something I've been working on not doing, but only for certain people.
Do you think that's like just your survival mode from the way you grew up and just your, having to take care of yourself and do everything?
Yeah, you had a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
That's why I had that particular homework from Dr. Paradise. Like that meal on the show was the only meal she cooked while we were there.
Okay. Well, her salad was
not
beautiful.
Just her fault. Yeah, she did make a really good salad. I was surprised. They caught that. I was surprised when I see the salad.
Okay, so well, I mean, I want to kind of get into the meat of this, as it were. But before we do you have any other questions from the episode?
No, I've honestly, I go live on TikTok all the time, so there's like so many questions that come through. I had a list, but I don't know what I did with them.
Okay, Lexi, do
But
you have any?
I have like,
Do you
yeah,
have,
well, I,
do you have viewer questions? Not that we like, I don't know, it doesn't matter.
I think we covered a lot of it. I wanted to ask you if you thought you got a good edit though. Do you think that they represented you well in your
Oh
life
yeah, there was
story?
times like I was an asshole. Like I was like during some of these times, like I was an asshole to like my mom because like just like she'll start up with like excuses or something. We were doing something and I would just shut her down. I would be like, I don't care. I don't care. Stop.
Mhm.
Because she makes excuses for everything and it frustrates me. And like I'm a lot better with that stuff. And they easily could have put that in, like
Mhm.
easily made me look bad. And they
But they
didn't.
made you look good.
Yeah, they just
Well-
kind of kept with the things that really mattered. I also noticed they didn't like do the like, 2 inches from my mouth while I'm eating, except for like maybe at the beginning. And like there's just a lot of stuff that I didn't see in my episode, but I also knew while doing this where I was going, and I didn't really give them a lot of opportunities for like my voice, a lot like things I would say or talk or anything. I always made sure I always talk positively,
Mhm.
except for when I was mad at my mom. that's
Well,
that's
and
the thing that the difference there though.
was there anything that they left out that you wanted in the episode?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
really don't think there's anything that got left out.
Well, and Wes
Oh no,
and
I
I
take
were,
that back.
yeah.
I don't know if I can say. I don't honestly. I don't care. We did a Taco Bell visit, and
Was it on your way to see
that did it.
Dr. Now?
Because
It
that's
was
a
on.
bingo square.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that you like. You always see. Like they haven't take out
Mhm.
on the way there or whatever, and they
Right.
didn't show that.
Yeah.
And
Fast food on the way to
I-
Houston.
I had like a big old big taco pack. I had like a big taco pack, and I was I was like, "Can I have a taco?" I was like, "Sure, if you give me some of your quesadilla," just because I thought it was hilarious. And I was like, "There's no way that doesn't make it," and then it didn't get put in, and that kind of saddened me a little bit. Yeah, I did do that on purpose. Like I wouldn't actually take her quesadilla when I have a whole taco pack. Like I wouldn't do that. But I didn't make it, and I was kind of sad. And I'm also sad that KJ didn't actually make it because she just couldn't. Like the kids and everything, it would have been way too hectic to do all that.
Well, this is okay. So that's a perfect segue into this. So on the show, you talked about your relationship status and your daughter, and we met her and stuff. And this other child who refers to you as stepfather. But you, the way that it was presented was, you and KJ, were together. You had your child, and then the way it seemed is you guys broke up. She remarried, and then you got this really good job offer in Oklahoma, and then you said on the show that you paid for them to move out with you so that you guys could all still be a close family. And we had a discussion about this on our last episode.
Yeah, I think codependency was the word you used.
I said you were. I think
That was
I
not
think,
out of my mouth. That was
That
not
was
out of
mine.
mouth.
I think my exact words may have been codependent as fuck or
Yeah,
something along those
that's about it.
lines. And I thought there was a lot of respect for the wanting to keep the blended family together and all of that stuff. I strive very much for that in my own blended family situations. So there was a lot of respect for that, but I'm like, that's just weird. Like that whole thing is just weird as fuck.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out you're not codependent as fuck. And there's actually a whole other explanation that didn't get shown. And this also explains what we saw later in the show where all the kids were there with, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. He calls him stepdad. Okay, that's all right, whatever, to each his own, whatever. They're all there for the kids. That's what's important. That's what ultimately where I landed on it. So take it away. Why don't you give the big reveal?
Yeah. So essentially I'm back with my I don't say ex baby mama, whatever people want to call it. I'm the boyfriend. Her husband is Rob, and he's here. He's actually over here too. He's gonna come talk too. If you guys have questions for him or anything. So yeah, and but I've known KJ for 17 years. Like before we ever even should have been talking, we were talking, playing RuneScape online. We were just friends. Like we didn't even know, like that's all it was. It was just playing a video game. And then like, it was years before we met. And then we became closer online. I actually lived in Ohio when I moved to Rhode Island. And then like we just worked like for I think we were together for like 4 years. I was actually homeless for one of the first years I was there. She lived in the car with me instead of like going home. She would just stay there with me. And, you know, so we got really, really close. And there was a lot of other things that happened as to why we separated. And weight was not one of them. I know that's like a big thing. Everybody assumes that is. We actually became way closer, not just as friends, but like as intimate partners as well. Like we just became a lot closer after we separated and had our own places. And then me, like I do with everything, I had an opportunity to go to a different state. And because of my past trauma, I genuinely thought it was a great idea. And I did. I mean, I was making too much money to give it up anyway. So I moved, and my daughter, my daughter went back and forth. Like I didn't like it. And while I was gone, she met Rob.
So wait a minute. Okay, so you were in Rhode Island. You and KJ were together. You have Zoe, right? Zoe's her name. So you have Zoe. Then you guys just break up, but you're still seeing each other, as it were, as quote unquote exes. Like you're divorced at this point. Were you guys legally married? I don't know.
No, we never. I've never been married.
Legally married. Okay, but you guys broke up. But you were and living in your own places, but still involved in the emotional and physical relationship.
Yes.
Okay. So then you got this job offer at Oklahoma. So you go there. Zoe went back and forth.
Yes.
Okay.
And while I don't. Yeah.
Okay. I'm up to speed.
Before or after I left.
Like 2 weeks before you.
Okay. So she actually met Rob just before I left for Oklahoma, which would make sense because I mean, I don't know if she was looking for anybody at the time. I mean, she could have been. Like, we decided to separate. We always knew it would be close, and you know, hence today. And I moved, and then she met Rob, and they, you know, they've had time together. Well, when they moved out to where I was at, which this is kind of where I'm like why? Like, I always think about this, like, why did you move with her out here? I've asked Rob that before, and I'm glad that he did, because we're in such a good place now. And I don't know, it's crazy. Like, they all moved there. They stayed with me for a little while, and Rob got his job, and then they had a place, and then I lost my job, my first job, not the one they talk about on the show.
So they did move to Oklahoma, but they weren't living with you. Okay.
They did initially.
Okay, they did initially, and then they went and got their place.
Yeah, because I was like, there's jobs out here. You easily get a job. He got a job. Then they got their own place and the same apartment complex. So we were like, we always lived like really close, you know, and I'd help watch the baby and stuff. Like, it was just friends. Like, we were all getting closer and closer. But then I lost my job, and I ended up going and living with them in their place for, I think, like a year. And then we all got a house together. And then that was 4 years. And then
at this point, were you just all co-parenting and just supporting each other as friends?
Yeah. There was I guess it's hard. We didn't have a label for any of it. So it's really hard to kind of say, I guess. And then down the road, eventually I wanted to get my own place, because no matter how it was, maybe because it didn't have a label, it never felt like my place. It was their place, and I was staying there. So I ended up going and getting my own job, my own place. And then I lost my job after I got my own place. And that's when I really put on a lot of weight.
Okay.
But during this time, all of this time, I didn't even know, I didn't know the love and care that they had for me, as I was spiraling out, because everybody's like, oh, you're such a great dad. You do so good. And it's I only look like a great dad because KJ made sure that when I didn't get things taken care of, she came and cleaned. Rob would come over and clean. They take the trash out. There's just so much stuff that they did that I didn't even realize. And then all of a sudden I'm going to Texas, and that day, Zoe cried, and that made me a little sad. But the thing that hit me the most, that was kind of the first trigger of what I was leaving behind, is, which they don't have on camera, when we came back to the house to say goodbye to everybody, and I gave KJ a hug, and I seen the reaction on her face, and I was like, crap, it's more than just my daughter that I'm leaving that's really going to miss me. And then there was just other things that started happening after that the conversations, like her always checking on me, Rob always checking on me, just so much things that I was so blind because I was in such a bad place. And sometimes you don't even realize the people that care about you or that are there for you because you just have it in your mind that those things just aren't a possibility.
You started to realize that you were worthy and that you were loved and that you did have value, and look at this, because you have this in your life, and okay.
It's great. Like we're talking about, I love talking about it because it really brings it up to the front and helps me accept it too, because I still have doubts. Like even today, I'll still doubt things.
For sure. So now you guys are all in Oklahoma. You lost your job. Things go downhill. They take care of you. Okay. So then what came next?
So them taking, well, I had like a bunch of money saved. So I lived for almost 2 years and I didn't pay anything. And then the pandemic came. So I actually had like a bonus year because like all the help services, if you're getting kicked out, just pay like 8 months of rent, stuff like that. So between like my crypto savings and the stuff that I had, I ate whatever I wanted and did whatever I wanted. Another thing that make it in the show was my video game addiction. Like I play like 18 hours of games every day.
There's a doggy in the background.
Oh,
Sorry. There's a doggy.
That's Quinn.
ADD. That's not an addiction. What? Do you at least stand?
Hanekawa was a gamer, by the way.
Like
Yeah.
18 hours, dude. That's
It was a lot. I played way too.
that is a lot. Yeah, I get it.
But that was what I focused on to kind of get to forget about that. And then Zoe and Landon, they would come over every weekend. Well, I would get
and
behind.
Landon is KJ and Rob's kid. Okay, got it.
But him
Making
growing
sure
up,
keeping the
we
name
all lived
straight.
together while he was getting up to talking age. So Zoe's always called me daddy. So Landon calls me daddy. And then Mason, which is our youngest, same thing. He calls me that too. So we're both, we'll just be standing there. One will walk in the room and be like, daddy. And we'll be like, what?
So at what point in this, now when KJ and Rob got together, were you and KJ still having your physical relationship?
No, because I was in Oklahoma.
Okay. But when you guys then all were in Oklahoma together, at this point, is this when you guys became this triad, or how did that happen?
So that didn't happen until more recent, like
Okay.
that actual label type thing. Like there's things in the past, like being close and stuff, but not anything that intimate.
Okay.
But it was the tension and like looking back in my mind, it was always just a no, that could never happen. Same thing with Rob. It was just no, like those things. It was like it could, but that's not supposed to happen, so it didn't. And that just kind of went on for a long time. But after I came back from Texas and we all moved back here, that things changed.
Okay. So talk me through that to the extent that you're comfortable, obviously.
So absolutely. So I'm still blind at this point. Like I've seen some of the things. I haven't connected the dots or anything like that of anybody's feelings. And we've been back, I think it's like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And KJ, we're going to the Walmart, and we're sitting at a light, and she turns the music down. And she's like, "You make me happy." And like, she doesn't say things like that. Like if you go to her TikTok, she's a hard ass. Like this is something she doesn't say. And then she turns the music back up and starts driving. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then I overthink everything. So I'm like, why didn't I see this? What am I missing? This isn't a thing that should be possible. And then I just started thinking about it. And then we had some other conversations, and like there's like, it kind of rolled out from there. And then me and Rob started talking more about it, because that's like not a topic that me and him have talked to directly before that we didn't do. It was me and her, or her and him talking about it.
Okay. So when you say talking about it now,
the whole relationship, like us being in that relationship.
So is it in this, and you gotta, you
explain
this for those of us that don't understand, is KJ having independent relationship with you and an independent relationship with Rob, and that's it? or are you and Rob also having an independent relationship there too?
Okay, so yeah, I'm the boyfriend, he's the husband. It's like the letter V, I guess you could say. She's there, and then like it's not like me and Rob, and that it is just like she has a boyfriend, she has a husband type thing.
Okay.
We weren't sure. We were just like, we didn't know how to define.
Yeah.
I try not to confuse them with terminology, so it's just you
Yeah,
have to let him understand, because there's triads, and then there's the relationship with the metamors. So it's like I'm like, you don't want to put labels and everything, because everyone will be like, no, it's not like that. So
yeah, like everybody's just like, oh, you're poly. Like when I go on TikTok, they're like, you're poly, so you're open to other people. No.
Yeah.
I didn't plan to be in any relationship until I was done with all this, not at least for another year out. That's how closed off I was to this initially, and not realizing, like I've thought about it, but during my whole journey, it was just not something that I had planned whatsoever.
Just kind of happened.
Exactly.
And we actually didn't mention why KJ, I know you told me in a text message, but can you let everyone know why she chose not to be on the show? Because a lot of people were wondering why she didn't show her face or didn't want to be.
Yeah, so because she didn't want to actually come to the house and do stuff with everybody, they didn't have her sign the NDA, so they blurred her out in all the pictures. And she couldn't, because there was with the kids, like, because Mason was young, he's still essentially a baby, and that's just too much. It's just too much to have everybody doing all that. And I knew what the filming and stuff entailed at that point, because they asked a lot, and I was like, because she was the one that initially did the interviews with me. And we were planning to do it that way, but a lot of stuff changed from then until it actually being done. And I think like it's setting in that I was actually leaving, and everything it was a lot. And her not being it, I regret. Like, I really do regret, because the show's always going to be a big part of my life and a big turning point. But I mean, I'm here doing this here, and I have so much stuff up on social media now. Everybody will figure out eventually.
And we'll, of course, we can, we're going to link all of your stuff, of course, and we can link hers as well. And Rob's as well. So I have Hanekawa's Kinky Cafe to educate me on this stuff, and we were recently talking about all of these differences, polygamy and polyamory, and because we cover sister wives on the show, and of course now Cody only has one wife, and and there's just all this stuff, and then there's of course the TLC show Seeking Sister Wife, and now there's this new one starting this weekend, Seeking Brother Husband. Now Sister Wives and all that was very male based. It's patriarch society based, and now obviously the novelty of the Seeking Brother Husband, where it's the woman and all, and the different men, there's obviously novelty and stuff to that, but you're like a real life version of this versus TV version. Which isn't one that I have seen a lot. I've had friends, I've known people who have been the girlfriend or whatever the situation is. But I don't often see it with one woman and two men in this husband and boyfriend thing. I also see it quite frequently with gay men, husband and boyfriend. But yours, no, I haven't seen. So I don't know. Can you educate us a little bit on maybe some of the differences in what your relationship, and I know, put again labels, but maybe what yours is versus labels versus all of that.
Yeah, like I honestly, I couldn't see anybody coming into a situation like this without having history with somebody. Because like you have to really care about somebody, and like maybe that's just like a male thing to actually not be jealous of the other person. Like you just have to actually care about the other person's feelings, because you're always going to have some moment at some point where you're going to feel a little jealous. But like in this case, like for me, I'm the boyfriend. So they've been married for 9 years. And so they've lived together. They have their bedroom, they have their bed. I sleep in a different room. I like my bed. I like sleeping by myself. But we still, like we all hang out every night. Like I'll come and just chill in their room with them. But it's very much like I am in like a boyfriend role in that aspect. It is a boyfriend and he is the husband. But the history is the only thing that lets happen, because I was never be open to something like this with literally anybody else. except for these two. It's not something I would be like, oh, like if this fell apart, I would not look for this relationship elsewhere. And I know Rob feels the same, because like we've talked a lot about this. We're open it doesn't matter what happens. Like what happened last night, we'll probably talk about it the next day, make sure everybody's still cool and where everybody's on the same page, because communication is like key. If you don't talk about how you feel, it falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do both of your families, your extended families, know about your relationship?
They probably do now. I mean, I don't care if they know, but I also wouldn't take the time to tell them the same way I wouldn't tell them anything else about my life, because we just don't talk.
Mm-hmm. Do the kids understand or know, or do they think that you're just like living with them?
Oh, Zoe, she was the first person. She was like, why can't mommy have two boyfriends? Like she's the first, like she asked that before we even ever put a label on it. That was her question. And it was like, well, I mean, they can, but we kind of avoided it, and we still don't directly tell. Like she knows, and we've talked to her, but she hasn't brought it up again. Like I want it to be on her asking about it again. But she wants that. She doesn't want me to ever leave. She doesn't want Rob to leave. There's arguments and stuff, and if Zoe hears it, like if someone's upset about, there's not arguments a lot because we communicate, but if someone is upset and Zoe would be like, what happened? It's like, oh, and we'll just tell her, we're upset about this or that, and we just keep it open in that aspect, but try to keep it very clear that it's not normal, because she's still young and we don't want her to think, oh, well, being with multiple people is okay. I mean, if you understand the risks, sure, but that's there's so much stuff to unpack with that, and it can be overwhelming.
It's not necessarily age appropriate to be having, like, I guess, those conversations. It's not like, hey, mommy's boning both of us, but not at the same time, like you don't have those conversations just like I would, you wouldn't have those in a monogamous relationship, right?
Exactly. She'll be like, oh, what do the kids think? Yeah, we're not telling them we're wrestling in the bedroom together, like you don't tell them that, yeah, we hug each other, cool.
The emotional stability provided to the kids is a whole interesting dynamic, given that you and KJ had the history, and then Zoe, and then like broke up, but then are now back in the picture, although you doesn't sound like you ever really left, but like in an official capacity you're back in the picture. So there's this sense of stability that comes in that relationship, that family unit, for all the people who are going to be like, family values or whatever, I mean, not
there's a lot of love. It seems like there's a lot of love in your family, and I think that's most important. I mean, monogamous relationships can be detrimental to child's well-being, physical and mental.
Any relationship can be detrimental, and it has nothing to do with who's boning who's fucking who's sucking who's whatever. I don't think any, and none of it has anything to do, I don't think, have to do with that. I know, I'm sorry, I just know. It just is. It's just one of those things. But so with a total number of kids that are involved, let me set me straight here. We have
so Zoe, Landon, and Mason.
Okay, and Landon and Mason are both KJ and Rob's, or no?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Now, would you father more children with her?
If we didn't already have 3 kids, yeah.
I mean, if the number of kids, okay, well, I mean, just like any other family, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Well, it sort of becomes collective, right? You kind of accept them as your own. And like, we got 5,
Well, there's 3 kids,
you start
2
to
dogs,
lose the
2
desire,
cats.
add more to that.
Yeah, I just got a new puppy like 4 days ago.
I saw your Instagram. Oh my God. First of all, my daughter's name is Kaya, so I call her Kai too. And I saw that. I was like, oh my God. Kai.
Yeah, I've wanted a puppy for a really long time, and I knew I couldn't have one. I couldn't take care of it. I couldn't take care of myself. And I've always talked about it. So they snuck off, drove like 3 hours. I think it was like 2 hours one way, 2 hours the other, and went and picked up this pit bull and brought it back for me. And I love him. He's
cute.
Awesome.
That was really sweet of them. Like now you're in a place that you can take care of them. Plus it's this like emotional family bond. Like there's a bonding thing with you guys as a family there.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to have Rob join us, because I would love to hear about the relationship between you guys as far as like your emotional bromance. Like talk, you know, hey, let's bring him on, Rob.
I was gonna say Rob did so much in the show. We saw Rob, we saw you do so much to help out and be supportive. First of all, I hate moving. Okay, moving is the worst. I've done it so many times, and to see you helping and whatnot, I was like, all right, that's a good guy right there. Because,
well, I'll tell you something about the moving. I moved a lot, more than I'd like to admit, and that actually was easy compared to other houses that we moved from. You know, me and KJ actually had to move pretty much a 3-bedroom house by ourselves. To the current house that we live in now. And yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, because I was too fat to help.
Yeah.
oh man. Oh.
Yeah, they cut out everything of me moving. Like all the stuff I helped move, like because I also helped move stuff. And then when we got to Texas, I unloaded almost everything myself.
But they didn't show any of that.
Yeah, I didn't show any of that.
Of course not.
I got half of it unloaded and I couldn't move anymore. And I actually paid the maintenance guy in Texas. I paid him $100 to finish unloading the U-Haul.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of funny because like you're there like moving for hours, and then you see it on TV and it only lasts like a minute and a half, and you're like, there's so much work that was done.
Yep. Yep.
So Rob, tell me how you came to this. So you met KJ back in Rhode Island. Take me back.
Yeah, so it was way back, and you know, she actually messaged me first. You know, I was just I had a
Did she
full-time
slide
job.
into your DMs?
Yeah. But you know, it's funny because I actually know her through her brother. Me and her brother were actually in a band together, and you know, we were just at his house one day, and you know, I didn't think anything of it. You know, she just had made fun of me, said a joke because she was peer pressured to call me a name. And then she messaged me about it like 3 months later. I was like, hey, remember that time I did this? And I was like, yeah, hey, what's up? So we just started talking, and you know, we hung out and we hit it off really quick. You know, she's amazing. And after that, you know, first of all, I should say that the whole time that we were together, like from point A to where we are now, he has been supportive. Like it was never one of those things that you see on Jerry Springer, and you know, like, it was not like that. So
we do cover reality TV around here, so
yeah.
we've seen quite a few love triangles.
Yeah, and I got to be honest, it surprised me because I was skeptical at first. I never thought I would I never pictured myself being with someone who already had that, you know, connection with someone else in their life, you know, a kid and, you know, all that. And I did it because I liked who she was and her personality, and it worked out. You know,
did you know that she was still boning him?
Well, no, because that wasn't the case at the time.
Yeah,
okay.
I moved.
Oh, okay.
2 weeks after they met each other.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy because like I had met her, and then within just a couple weeks he was moving out to Oklahoma.
Okay.
And you know, how we got there was pretty crazy because, you know, we were in Rhode Island, and up there the cost of living is extremely high. It's really tough to make it unless you're living with family. But
I always forget Rhode Island's even like a state.
Yeah, a lot of people that I talk to, because I'm in customer service, and when I say, oh, I'm from Rhode Island, sometimes when we're talking, they'll be like, isn't that in New York? And
oh my God, that does not surprise me.
But then I looked it up, and I'm like, it's a real place in New York. Like, I didn't know that until recently. But
I got stuck on Rhode Island Avenue in DC yesterday for a good 45 minutes, and that's neither here nor there. Rhode Island, anyways.
Yeah. I got stuck on Pennsylvania Avenue the other day. Right. Well, I was right along the tidal basin, and it was 24 hours before peak bloom. So
yeah,
you know, we were in peduncle elongation.
Nice.
Sorry, we live in DC, and it's cherry blossom season, and everybody is like, "Oh my God, when are the cherry blossoms going to hit peak bloom?" They hit peak bloom midday today. So.
For someone that doesn't like the cherry blossoms, you seem to know a lot about them.
Because I'm forced to watch the news every day because I have a husband who works in news.
I sneezed so hard earlier, my headphones flew off. Oh my God. Okay, sorry, everyone.
Yeah, no, my husband works in news, so I have, you know, I have to watch the 5 o'clock news every day because it's the results of his work all day,
Mhm.
you know, and then, so it's always, and he made the mistake of saying at work, like, he didn't understand the cherry blossoms, why everybody was so like gung-ho about the cherry blossoms. He was like, why? I don't understand it. And then, yeah, apparently that's not the thing you say in a DC newsroom, because you will be, you know, anyway. Anyway, but we digress.
That's yeah.
So,
Where do we leave off?
Rhode Island. Rhode Island. Rhode Island.
So yeah, I mean, from there, you know, things were just they were very difficult, and at that point we knew that KJ was going to be having Landon, and so, you know, it was kind of a collective thought, you know, of moving to Oklahoma because cost of living was lower, there were more job opportunities. I happened
These
to get
two are
really,
in contact anyway. KJ and Chris are in contact all the time anyway.
exactly,
So,
and it was a perfect transition because like I said before, he was very supportive. He allowed us to stay with him for, you know, a certain period of time before I got a job. I was lucky enough to get a job that could support an entire household and we could build a family. And so that's what happened. You know, we moved out here and things went surprisingly well. And it's one of those things too, like we were pretty young to be making that kind of move. And my family wasn't very supportive of it. They were like, you're going to be out there for 3 or 4 months and then you're going to be crying to come back. And here we are 9 years later.
Yeah.
how old are you? How old are
Um,
you?
I was 21 at the time.
Oh yeah, that is young.
That's,
Yeah.
that's, yeah.
I
But
remember
mean,
when I was 21. Oh.
well, no,
Yeah.
I mean, I got no problem with people being young and moving. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what I did. I moved all over the place. Like, I don't know. I was kind of raised that way, but, you know, reach out, explore, you know.
I want to know, okay, because Chris, you said that the relationship conversation, like your new dynamic of a relationship conversation happened like recently. How did that come about? Like who said what to who? Like how do you open that door of like, hey,
gracefully or
Just like, how
however
did it
you
happen?
wanna-
Like, did you
right,
just like
like,
did you
get-
accidentally trip and fall into KJ's vagina and you guys decided
How
like,
does that-
hey, I guess we're gonna be boning, and hey, yo, you okay with it, Rob? Okay.
You mentioned
I
like
mean,
turd dirting on the radio and telling you that, but
yeah,
how
that's
did-
like that I mean, honestly, that's where it started. Like it started there. There's a lot more, like, sex is like, you know, of course that's a thing, that's what, you know, people that are together do, but there were so many other stages before that we had to talk about and go through, and like spending time together, and there's just a whole lot of other stuff to, I guess, to get to that position before those things happen. And that it took a lot of conversation and a lot of talking. I know it was her and Rob talking together a lot, and then me and her talking about things a lot. Like we had a lot of conversations a lot of different times. And then me, like, I had to be completely comfortable before moving forward with anything, because that's just the type of person I am. It had to be okay with both of them, not just, you know, not if it was just something that she was okay with that day,
right.
because she's also very much somebody that doesn't want anybody to get hurt. She would rather there be nothing and she be with nobody than anybody to get hurt.
So Rob, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, it's okay. And well, and that's kind of where we had those conversations, and then it was like, okay, now me and Rob need to talk about this, and then that's what we do. We talk about it all the time. And
you
it's
just be like, yo, is it okay if I bone your wife?
Yeah.
Katrina likes to say boning a lot.
Well, I mean, the people want to know. I mean, I'm just, you know, that's
Well,
just what we
there
are.
is- so there's
because it's
there
all
is
okay with
some
us.
of our-
Yeah,
So
oh no, we're so chill. We
you know,
we're-
all of it, all
Yeah.
of the boning is okay without us. And so, you know, it's like taking the stigma out of it, right? Like,
Well, okay, it's not that, like, no, I'm not afraid to talk about the things, but there are some things that we do want to keep private, because I'm going to be a
Absolutely,
very
of
public
course.
person.
of
But I will
course.
give you at least a little bit. Those are things that we do together.
Okay.
But like anything past that, like that's about it. You know, I'm not gonna go now. They're husband and wife. Like if they do stuff and I'm not, I don't care. That's
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
I would be stupid and ignorant to expect anything different, if that makes sense. But that's, you know, that's completely up to them. Like what we do, how it works, all of that. You know, those are just things that we do still want to keep private. So at the end of the day, we know we have our space.
course.
Sure, fair, fine.
Katrina
Fine.
It's
Do you-
very fair. No, I like that.
Do you have any jealousy? Is there any sort of jealousy at
don't-
all?
So I don't have jealousy. I have some insecurities from being so big and losing weight. And I have loose skin and things there. There are things that make me very insecure. And I wasn't going to talk about them at all. But KJ was like, you just have to deal with those things. And it's literally the only thing that I'm insecure about is because like my stomach and like below my stomach, there's a lot of loose skin and it gets in the way for things. And it is, I mean, it can be embarrassing. I don't like, it doesn't matter if it's anybody else. Like the rest of the world, none of that matters. Like showering on a camera, all that, none of that stuff bothers me. But if it's the person that I actually care about and it's the person that I want to enjoy my company, then it becomes an issue in my head. And I know it's not going to be that way forever, but it does still bother me.
Well, yeah, I mean, understandable. I mean, you can't, it's like a lifetime to get our neuroses as bad as they are. It takes a while to undo them, once we're in a place where we're working on things where, you obviously are, because you're doing all the mental work as well. Rob, how would you and KJ feel if Chris were to go and find somebody else? Like, what would happen there?
It's I mean, to me, he can do whatever's going to make him happy. It might be something that means a lot more to KJ than it does to me, to be completely honest. I mean, it's not that I don't care
makes
about
sense. That makes sense.
I really am happy with the dynamic that we have. It works very well. But like I also care about him. I care about KJ. So, I would be there to support both of them. Just like if I was doing something, they would both be there to support me.
Now, you don't have to answer this, but is that something that you would potentially look at? I mean, that's getting a little like, are you planning on leaving your current relationship? Like, I'm not saying like, are you planning on breaking up with them or anything, but like, I mean, just from a dynamics and interest, I don't know I don't know what's the norm in these situations.
I think your thought, Katrina, is more of, are you seeing this as a long-term arrangement, or do you expect that eventually there's going to be separation and looking outside of this dynamic for maybe going off on your own? I guess that's
or bringing another one in. It's like maybe like he still has the relationship with KJ, but then he also maybe has a relationship with somebody else who doesn't have a relationship with, I don't know. Like, I mean,
it's so hard to plan for that. Usually this stuff just kind of like,
and that's kind of what you said. You just like, it happened. You weren't searching for it.
It
happened the way it happened.
We've all talked about it, and that's the biggest thing. I mean, just like any relationship, this is exactly the same. Communication is the biggest thing. And we literally talk about everything. Even if it makes us uncomfortable, we talk about it. And I mean, I personally, I don't picture it, ending that way. I don't. I imagine that this will probably last a while because we all support each other. Like I said, it works out. The kids are happy. Everyone is happy. And as long as that stays that way, there's no reason for it to change.
Well, I approve.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I was going to say, it seems like it was sort of a long time building towards what you guys have recently established it as. So, congratulations on that. What would you say is the biggest challenge for each of you individually?
I mean, right now, I don't think we really have much of a challenge to deal with. I mean, of course, the initial step into this dynamic was a challenge because, I didn't expect it. He didn't expect it. I don't even think KJ expected it, but it just happened to work out. We had sat down over a period of a few nights talking about everything and working everything out, and it just ended with, I think this could work. We think this could work, and that's how it happened.
What would you say is the biggest, the most difficult thing about it? Oh no, I just asked you that question. I meant the other.
I was like, is she reframing it? Are you a producer for the show?
No,
that would be the most difficult thing for I honestly, that question, I think the most difficult thing is making is not that's not a question for me and him because we're only one person there for one person. That's more of and I think about this all the time for her is how she's very super caring and she loves that we're both here. And I don't know how she makes all that work. Like if I had to give attention to another person, I would probably rip myself apart.
That's sort of my thought about, taking on another husband, like more than one husband. I'm like, mm-mm. No.
But we're so different. Like me and Rob are so different. Like we're extremely different.
Well, yeah, sure. KJ's would hurt. The thing that's going to be difficult for her is going to be different for each of you. But like the things that may be difficult for you, Chris, may be different than the things that are difficult for Rob, right?
Mhm.
Like it may be difficult for you, Chris, if you're like, I don't know, maybe you're in your feelings one night and they're not paying any attention to you. And you're kind of like, are things like that. Or Rob, are you like, like, I'm so like KJ's all upset because Chris is being, whatever. He's being standoffish because he's mad about,
well, I mean, that's actually
Alabama
a good point.
losing or something. I don't know.
Those are things that we've had to talk through, like both of those exact scenarios, because like they've had their time for 9 years. Like the last 3 years, I wasn't even there. Like I wasn't here in the house, like none of this was happening. So they have their time in the room, the time they spend together. And then like we decide to do this, I can't just expect them to just give that up. But the problem was nobody wanted to say that they needed that time. Mm-hmm. So it was more of we're just going to kind of go in the room and close the door. And then for me, that looks like my trauma is like, okay, well, now this is happening. Now that's the end. Like my brain immediately just goes, that's the end. And that's not the case. But then we would talk about it and then it just completely took care of it. Like that's when I say communication is key. Like if something bothers you, even if that conversation becomes heated, upset, or whatever it is, at the end of the conversation, everybody's happy and everybody's calm all over again. And
so then you would have to then go to him and be like, hey guys, it really kind of bothered me when you disappeared in your room last night without really interacting with me, and like have that conversation. And then they can be like, oh, sorry, we didn't even notice. I was just exhausted and I had to pee and she just ran it, whatever. It wasn't about you, Chris.
Because I've had my insecurities of being like, feeling like I wasn't wanted around. And then my response is to just remove myself and go into my own little space. So that's what I've done my whole life. But when I say stuff like that to them, then that's where that dynamic changes. And I know that I'm wanted here because they make adjustments or say like, hey, this is what we're doing. And it's not like all the time, it's just, we spend every night together, sitting watching TV, talking, bullshitting. We'll play games, spending most of the night together. And then we just have a really exhausting day. And KJ just wants to relax and not have to deal with two men. I mean, and he's the husband.
God
bless
him
out of the room. I go out because he's the husband. It's just you don't just kick him out of the room unless he's really done something wrong. And a rough day is not enough to kick your husband out of the room. So,
do you guys watch Sister Wives, by the way?
No.
Okay. I was gonna refer to something, but you don't watch it, so it doesn't matter. The conversation about Cody on the couch, Christine, Anyways.
Oh yeah, him sleeping on the couch.
Yeah. But
Robin always trying to get your husband. I mean, I don't know. Like, it'd be nice if I didn't. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I want to kick my husband out, but
you guys work opposite hours.
I know. I was gonna say, we work practically opposite hours. So yeah. So
and I'm single. I'll just kick myself out with my own couch
with your dog.
Yeah, Charlie.
Well, Kaya's sleeping, or the demon is multiplying. I don't know. Yep. Love should be multiplied, not divided. Is KJ around? Do we get to say hi to her? To get to see her face? No.
I could ask her if she wants to come say hi. I don't know if it's been a pretty stressful day.
I just want to say thank you both for being super open. And I know a lot of our listeners really, really appreciate the openness, and all of our listeners.
Not
most of them, all of them.
That's why they listen to us.
Exactly. It's dumb. It's late. But
hey,
no,
we still have Fat Friday to do.
Oh, I know.
We still have the show.
I'm just so excited that they came on, and I
I could just sit, but I know we don't have Hanekawa.
Well, as soon as Chris said he was listening to the episode, I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
I re-listened to that episode and I was like, oh god damn, I was kind of a dick. Like,
Well, and then he's like, yeah, I'll come
I'm
on.
gonna
And
go
he was
ask
like
her.
super
Yeah.
nice about it. Chris, you were
I
so nice.
know, and
Well,
he's
just
super
kind of
nice to
shows you
me.
what TV gives you the perception of somebody versus really talking to them. 'cause
Of course.
after talking, it's like, oh, you're pretty down to earth. You're not a jackass at all, I guess. No.
I was like, I didn't think it was, yeah.
I've
But
been
I mean-
monopolizing them.
Of course.
like you guys
Reality
could
TV.
you guys probably have questions for them, but I've been monopolizing them. So I'm just like,
No.
I
Well,
want to
Katrina,
know.
you and I are on the same page because I wrote down all these questions that you were hitting the nail on the head with. So I was like, okay.
She's dealing with
I
the
was
kids and
just,
stuff
I
right
was
now.
just enjoying, yeah.
It's all good.
Enjoying the stories.
I'm enjoying hearing people's stories and thinking inappropriately that they are both very handsome. I'm like, wow, how have we been blessed with two
They
very
are
handsome
they are both
Thank you.
good looking men. KJ is pretty lucky in that regard. Although there's
Yeah.
a lot of nose rings happening on the screen right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
I had
I'm
mine
digging
done.
it though. Oh my god.
Between the two of
Bling,
you and then
bling.
Lexi, like there's a lot of piercings happening on this
Mhm,
page.
mhm.
And
Are you getting jealous? Do you want one?
no.
No.
Mm-mm.
Well, and I mentioned that Wes wanted to reach out to you too and say, hey, if you ever want to talk or
Yeah.
whatnot. And he's talking about the haircut. So you just cut your hair on the show, right? Like Chris,
They-
right?
oh,
You're just
yeah,
like,
he
yeah,
was
I
mad
remember-
because he
I
wanted to cut
remembered
his
when
hair
he
and they
said
wouldn't
that,
let
and I
him.
was like, why,
Yeah.
why would you even let them dictate if you can get? I was just like, I'm getting my hair cut, and I got my hair cut.
That's what I told him, but
Yeah.
you know, I'm
we were laughing at that. I was like, Chris didn't even care. He was like, fuck production. I'm
Once
I'm
I
cutting
knew
my
like
hair.
the ball was in my park, that was it.
Dude,
I would just-
that's smart. You're getting a haircut so that they can't.
what are they gonna do
Footage.
now?
Can't edit you. Yeah.
They're trying to edit like long hair on them.
yeah, I knew when they. I wish I could say things, but I can't.
I know.
Yeah,
You
we
can
had
always
to-
text us. We won't say whatever you don't want to
once
Yeah.
we
say.
stop recording, you know.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
I have so many questions. You know, and part of the reason that I'm very excited about this and that Rob, that you were so willing to join in and stuff is, you know, because we have talked about this before, because we do talk about, you know, seeking sister wives. We talk about sister wives and a long time ago, Hanekawa and I used to interview lots of sex workers and a variety of situations. You know, we've talked to porn stars, we've talked to strippers, you know, and all of the just we like to have, you know, all of these different viewpoints and education on it from a non-judgmental
Mhm.
place. We want to be able to talk about this kind of stuff, and so we were wanting people in your kinds of situations to come on. Somebody
We
who's
were
in,
literally talking about that a few months ago. We need to
Right.
find somebody to, and then
I
boom,
put
there
it
you
out
guys
to
are.
some friends, and I was like, I need somebody who's in polyamorous relationships, and I need somebody who's in polygamous marriage, and then we get you guys, and not at all what I would have expected. Again,
Yeah.
not you know,
Neither.
not the usual kind of polyamorous relationship that I see. So I'm just so incredibly I'm so glad that you guys chose us to share this part of your story with. We are going to get to Fat Friday. We're going to cover 1,000-Pound Sisters. We're going to cover my 600-Pound Life with our special guests. They've watched the show. They're going to give us their insight. Much like when Wes sat down with us and watched Chrispy's episode. You are forever Chrispy now.
Yeah.
You know, I
That's
don't
okay.
know,
They
you
call me
saw
that
the
here
way that
too.
I spelled your name. You're forever Chrispy now. So much like Wes sat down with when we watched your episode, you guys are going to sit down with us as we talk about Patrick.
Well,
on
first
the
of
show.
all, 1,000-Pound Sisters and 600-Pound Life, it was the season finale for both
Okay, hold
shows.
on.
What?
Gotta take a break first. Hold on
break.
before
Yeah.
we get into the show.
Just like, damn it, I need a break.
She doesn't have a pen or paper, so she
No, I
has
have to type it in, and then
she
my
has
but
to
my
type
mic
in the notes.
my mic thing
In
is
the
in the way
chat.
of me trying to type, and it's just it's a whole issue. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. And then I'm gonna go give him these numbers, just like with the last one, and he's like, these are nothing. He's like, you need to come down here and find what you're talking about, because this is not the timestamp you meant. And so I was like, okay. And I went, and it was like, the timestamp I gave him was like 02, and the actual break was at like 01 something. It was like like an hour off.
TJ's like, damn it.
Like, I don't know. There was a bunch of numbers. I wrote a bunch of timestamps on this piece of paper, and I don't know what any of them were from, so I just guessed. He's just like, see, it's times like that I gotta like put out the extra, sexual favors. So that he, because when he turns into the producer side of him, can be real asshole to me. So, like, anyway. Okay.
Welcome back. That's for you, TJ. Or shit. Sorry. God damn.
Rob.
Did you timestamp the edit for his name?
Okay. And we're back. And we're back. We've got Fat Friday with you. Tonight we are covering My 600-Pound Life, and we're covering 1,000-Pound Sisters. We'll do 1,000-Pound Sisters first. It did appear to be the season finale, Lexi.
Yes.
So
Of
now
both
you can
shows. Yeah. So, well, my point being that they ended My 600-Pound Life on an episode that was kind of blah. I was actually really surprised. I thought for sure that they would have kind of given it a good season finale. And
no.
It was, well, we'll discuss that later. But yeah, so let's start with 1,000-Pound Sisters. The season finale, season 4, episode 10, Apple of My Eye.
Don't you love how the titles of all the episodes are food related?
Yes,
I just
noticed
realized that last night.
Oh, hi.
We were skipping through the TV.
Have you guys been watching the season or the whole series in general, or did you just watch like kind of catch up yesterday?
Yeah, we binged the whole thing like this last month, like from the
Nice.
beginning all the way to the end.
Okay.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
all 4 seasons?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh shit. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
that was like me with Sister Wives, so probably it's
That's
fresh
true.
in their head. Okay, so breaking news, but not so breaking because this will come out on a Saturday. But Michael did file for divorce from Amy in Kentucky, which yes, I haven't seen the documents. I don't know if you actually got.
I
to
have
see
not
them.
seen the
Okay.
documents, but
I was actually surprised that he was the one though that filed. But that's the.
It could be just the way that they ended up on paper. I mean,
okay.
It just
Gotcha.
I filed in my first wedding. My first divorce. I filed, and it listed his name first. I don't know. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
All right. So
but yeah, so we did talk about that, and it's been, I guess, confirmed. I don't know.
Yeah, all the sources are saying it, but yeah, we haven't actually looked up the paperwork. God damn it, Charlie. My dog is all kinds of hyper. He's here. He hears my voice. Okay, so this kind of was uneventful. It was tying in tying up the relationship between Tammy and Caleb into the actual wedding, which the whole episode was about.
Oh, so this wedding.
Yeah.
Oh,
the end of it, which we'll get to it. Oh my God. I was like, you better make a GIF out of those, like the little things at the end from the bottle or the cans tied to the back of the wheelchairs.
Oh gosh, yes.
I was like, if that's not my wedding, I don't know what.
I have a lot of screenshots. I like the a man never rubs trakes and tells.
Yes, that needs to be a t-shirt.
I've got that, and then I've got the whole just Tammy have butterflies, or does she have pterodactyls? Oh, that whole thing.
Yeah.
Do you have the butterfly? Yeah, and then
there were some good quotes
Amy
in this
holding
episode.
the fart in until the end.
I love how she stole the bottle of wine and it wasn't even, there was no alcohol in it. She's like chugging anyway.
Fake wine.
Right. It's like the wine I drank while I was pregnant, aka grapefruit juice. Okay, so we see the family driving to go to Tammy and Caleb's wedding. Of course, Tammy's mom can't make it because of her health problems, which we already know that's kind of bullshit.
Her health problem is code for her dogs.
Is
my babies,
right?
My babies.
Always.
And you guys just chime in anywhere you want.
Yeah.
Don't feel like you have to be
All right.
invited to speak.
Yeah.
We don't ask permission around here. We just
I should
yell
have
over each other.
I think a nice segue earlier when we were talking about communications. I should have said communicizing.
Communicizing. Yeah, Amy was
Do you
talking
speak
about
Kentucky?
Can I speak Kentucky?
Can you speak Kentucky?
I could try. I don't know if I'm that good.
Oh man,
at
now
it,
we
but-
both gonna be over here, Kentucky.
Oh my
guys.
God.
Yeah, he pretty
Jeez,
good
man.
at it.
That's amazing. I love it.
That's actually really good.
Right?
Really good.
I used to
I'm
watch.
s-
I used to role play online a lot, so I got this whole other persona that I can be.
I used to watch Larry the Cable Guy a lot when I was
Yes.
younger.
I
was
saw
"That's
him
funny right
live."
there.
Yes, Larry the Cable Guy. So funny. All right.
Okay.
So then we see the ladies getting that we see everyone arriving at the rehab facility. I'll skip over some of the stuff that isn't
Yeah.
important. We see the ladies getting their hair and makeup done. And Amy is giving marriage advice about how important communication is, which again, tying back into what you all were talking about. Now she's divorced or getting there, but that's okay.
Didn't communicate.
Communicate. And we see Amanda and Misty interrogating Caleb. And he was just like, he looked actually scared. I'll be honest. He looked a little fearful. His eyes
He
were like
did.
popping
He
out of his
did.
head.
He's like, all right, okay.
Yeah.
She said, we're about to fuck around and find out.
I don't know how tall Amanda is, but she seems pretty tall.
She's a big
And-
girl.
Actually, Chris, I wanted to ask you this. This is one of the things on my 600 pound life that never gets talked about is height. How tall are you?
I'm
We know
6
every-
feet tall.
You're 60.
Okay.
Okay. 'Cause we know everyone's weight, but we don't know how tall they are. So
It's like they intentionally mislead us about that
course.
so that we
Yeah.
don't know the height weight proportion.
Yeah, so a lot of people are like, you don't look that big, and I was like, well, I'm 6 feet tall. If I was 5'5", it would look a lot bigger.
Right.
right. That's what I say too. I'm like, well, I'm 5'6", so you know.
I'm 5'4".
if
so
I was
these-
if I was 5 foot, I'd be, you know.
they just
Guys are
look really
so
big.
tall.
And then we got Shorty McShort pants over here.
I keep forgetting how short Hanekawa is. How tall are you again?
I tippy toe to 5 foot. I'm
Yeah,
way
your
taller.
kid's taller than you now.
He's getting there.
Based on that picture you sent from the
Yes.
dentist, like that kid got long.
I know.
Anyway, but we
Okay,
digress.
so Amanda talking to Caleb, and then they asked him about signing a prenup, which, listen, I don't think Tammy has a lot of money, so I don't know why the hell she's even bringing up a
she's
prenup.
just asking just to test him, just to see
Yeah.
what he'd say. Because if he says no, I wouldn't, then that would set off a red flag. Not that they need one, although I would recommend one for anybody. But I mean, I although I didn't sign one, didn't have any assets. So
Did anybody in the family? I didn't catch if anybody in the family knew that Caleb went to that place just to be with her.
They
Like,
did.
did they all know that?
They did. They found out. Yep.
yeah, because I
Mhm.
think on
Chris
the
was
last episode
talking
they were talking about like, does this make him a serial killer and
Right.
all this stuff? And I was like, it's a little
Right.
creepy.
It's kind of creepy. Like I saw you on TV and I thought I just check myself in. It's like he's like, you know how many bags of
And-
Cheetos it took. You have no
How many
clue.
vats of spaghetti it took me to get here?
Speaking of
Like,
spaghetti,
I had to get swole in ways I didn't know.
And then he had to like choke himself so she could save him.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
that's a bit kinky. Wait, what are you doing? Oh my god.
oh my goodness. Okay. Well, yeah, red flags waving everywhere, every which
Mhm.
way.
Yeah.
And then we see Caleb say, a man never rubs, strakes, and tells, which you mentioned. We see Amy waiting for everyone to finish playing bingo so she could start decorating the room, which was hilarious. And
This rehab wedding.
I think this is amazing.
Amazing.
I mean, hey, weddings are expensive. I
Let's
don't
start
blame
pulling
them.
the tablecloths off and
Yes.
put our Dollar Tree tablecloths on. I'm like, this
Love
wedding.
it.
I mean,
That wedding
Hmm.
probably cost $100 tops. Good for them.
What I
maybe
wanna know
150
is-
since Dollar Tree went to $1.25 tree.
Quite
What I want to
possibly.
know is like they gave like apparently she had an hour to set that entire room up. We actually just recently had a birthday party for KJ, and it's just like a little tiny kitchen area that me and him decorated. It took us 3 hours to decorate the entire kitchen. How
Because
were
you're a
you
bunch of
changing that?
dudes.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, but you're a bunch of mediocre white dudes. Like, What did I say about mediocre white men, right?
I see some good interior designers though, man.
Hey, I'm married to one. I mean, come on. I've said this before.
Hey, I can't decorate. You saw me try to throw Danielle. Oh no, you came after I tried to decorate Danielle's 50th
I saw it
birthday party.
decorated.
Yeah. That was like, oh, I tried. I tried. I'm not a girly girl artsy. No, I don't know how to do that
It
stuff.
was good.
Oh,
I
thank you.
particularly like Morgan Freeman on the TV behind us in that picture.
We couldn't find the remote. That's neither here
Then
nor
they
there.
finally did and turned it off. But until then, we had Morgan Freeman gazing down on us.
Samuel L. Jackson.
No, yes, you're right. Samuel L. Jackson, not Morgan Freeman. Sorry.
If it was Morgan Freeman, I would have taken selfies with it because I love Morgan Freeman.
Who doesn't,
like
man?
The grandfather that
the voice.
Doesn't. Yes. I changed my ways to his voice, but that's neither here nor there. You could do that for a while. It was like, turn right. I was like, I'll turn.
I don't use Waze because Waze will like send you through somebody's backyard to save 2 seconds. Like, no.
I love it. Driving through DC and everywhere. Oh my God. I'm like back roads. I don't even know where I'm at.
Yeah, that's exactly why.
I'm going to end up on an episode of Unsolved Mysteries.
On Pennsylvania Avenue when my office is by the stadium.
It always defaults me to the monument and Pennsylvania Avenue every time. I'm like, why am I by the monument?
I was coming from Southeast. I was coming from the freaking the stadium, and I had to cut through DC because I had to stop somewhere in DC, and then I should have just been able to go straight down, but I screwed up because freaking whatever, and so I'm on like Florida Avenue and all this stuff, and the next thing you know, I'm on freaking Pennsylvania Avenue at 5:00 on a Friday night. Or no, it wasn't Friday, it was Tuesday. But during peak bloom, tidal basin. I was like, okay.
Crazy.
But we digress.
All right. So then we see Caleb trying to put clothes on that Amy had gotten for him, but they don't fit.
He has to get clothes from another resident.
Which is great. I would have just rolled into my pajamas. I wouldn't have cared. I've been like, whatever. Like, I would have wrapped the tablecloth around me and made it work, like a toga or something.
Who cares? Yeah. He got sweatpants and a polo from another guy. Like,
how hard is it to find clothes? Like, how did you find your clothes, Chris? Like when you were at your biggest?
We asked Wes this too. Yeah.
Oh, DXL. That's where I would go. And then actually he was spot on with the shorts. He called out where those shorts I had on. Absolutely. He was spot on. Yeah. That's exactly where I got them from. But I go to DXL, which they're like everywhere. It's like they're not cheap though. So I don't get to get many clothes, but they make them comfortable. They stretch in the right places. It's nice.
Okay.
That's what when I seen the show, when they came in the room and they had all those fresh shirts, I was like, oh, they have a DXL next door? Like, how did a roommate just have a whole bunch of brand new clothes,
All right. So then after Caleb gets clothes from his rehab mate friend, so then we see Amy getting her makeup and hair done with Tammy. Tammy puts on her dress and she looks like she lost a lot of weight. And actually seeing Tammy stand up, because you don't really see her standing up very often, I noticed like she's really short. I don't know how short she is, but she's pretty petite, which I didn't realize.
Well, I wouldn't call her petite, but she's short.
I think she's short. I think, yeah.
I mean, then she had let's call a spade here,
She had blinged out white Crocs.
I have a picture of that. Yep.
Okay, I was like, hello.
They say pride on them, and they're all blinged out, and then she's got these big old fuzzy white socks, and then she's got her sundress. It's like this mishmash of trashiness, rehab wedding chic that I've ever seen, and it's both the saddest thing I've ever seen and the sweetest thing I've ever seen. So
I was like, good for her. Speaking of blinged out stuff, is Dr. Now's stethoscope really blinged out?
Yes.
Is that like real jewels on there? I mean,
I didn't have a diamond test or anything, but being
probably
really close
Swarovski
to it.
crystal.
It looks real. Like that was one of the first things that I wanted. Like when he came in, maybe that's why I didn't hear him when he first walked in. Looking for the But no, I definitely took a nice little eye to it a couple times to see it. But I mean, it's a real stethoscope, and it's got. I mean, I don't know if they're real or not, but it's definitely bejeweled pretty nice.
Okay, bedazzled. Remember that?
Bedazzled.
I'm an '85 baby. I know about bedazzled and stuff.
So funny. I mean, those stethoscopes are like freaking accessories. So, and they're expensive as it is. What's a few diamonds on it?
Yeah, it doesn't leave the
Mm.
office though, because if you notice, whenever he goes to like hospitals and stuff, he doesn't have that with him.
Oh
He has a
hell no!
different
You
one.
put that in a safe and you
Yeah,
put the
you lock that up.
fuck that.
He gets that for every surgery he does. He adds a new like jewel to
Oh,
it.
is that what happened? Yeah, a new row of
Oh,
jewels
it's a
around it.
stomach kill count.
Stomach
It's like a stud for every. Oh no, that's so morbid.
He takes one off when people reject surgery, Chris. He lost like one
Yeah.
for you.
Just like
Yeah.
scratches one. He has like his own KDR for his surgery. Oh,
KDR.
God. I'm so morbid. It's yeah.
Like geeky gamer thing. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so then we see the wedding. Caleb rolls down the aisle in the wheelchair. They all have these cute little sunflower decorations everywhere. And there was a moment where Caleb was scared. He thought Tammy was getting cold feet.
Oh yeah, they had to draw it out, make it look like she was taking too long to come out or something, which whatever.
Right.
Who knows if she really did.
It was kind of sad though that Caleb didn't have many like family members there. I don't know. I felt kind of bad for him.
Well, I mean, would you travel really far to go to that wedding?
No.
Oh, if it was my family member,
I mean, I don't know.
absolutely.
I don't know what a normal family dynamic is because mine is
Me either.
much like Chris's. My dynamic is like I can relate to you a lot, Chris. So I don't know what a normal family dynamic is.
You know what's crazy is like I'm kind of glad that we didn't have family at our wedding. Me and KJ had a very discreet wedding. Like I reached out to someone who could do it, and then we just went to this really nice park, and it's kind of cool because like where we were, there was like a little river, and they take like these boat trips down the river. As we were getting married, this boat full of people was driving, like they were floating by, and everyone said congratulations. So that was kind of like the group of people that we had at our wedding.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, but then Zoe was there, she gave us the rings and stuff. And then after that we just kind of walked off and took a bunch of pictures. But it was really nice. It was calm, it wasn't stressful, we didn't have to decorate anything. We came home, had some pizza, and that was it. It was nice.
If I ever get married, that's what I'm doing. Something low key and chill. I'm not dropping 30, 40
We're
grand
doing
on
it
something.
at West End Grill so I
Yeah.
can have some of that crab dip on the loaded tots.
What I don't understand
Yes.
is like these people that have these expensive weddings and make the parents pay for it. Yeah, I will never
Where do you
understand.
find those parents?
I know.
Exactly. I don't-
Right?
I might consider marriage if I had those
Can
parents.
I get adopted? Same. Yeah, I don't get it. I'm very much a, you do you, whatever you want, whatever makes you happy at a wedding, but I'm not going to recommend spending, the size of a down payment in the DC area on a wedding. So, I
Nope.
mean, I don't know.
Yep.
But
I
we
mean,
digress.
yeah, I'll rent out a rehab center, go to like a retirement community, the YMCA.
Go to the one that Danielle works at right now,
Yes.
and then I'll officiate your wedding.
Well, I need to find like who am I marrying? John Cena? Like you can't see him. Who am I marrying?
That's true. You don't have anybody to marry right now.
Okay, so
John
then
Cena.
it took me way too long to get that joke.
No, I got it. I just didn't know how to like.
Do.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're
Sorry,
wrestling fans.
we're
Don't
wrestling
judge us. So then, okay, let's see. Where am I? I got all excited.
So we're excited about John Cena. The rehab wedding.
Yeah. So okay, then we just see them getting married. Yeah, whatever. Okay, then afterwards, well, Caleb was crying during that. That was really sweet, and he was telling her how much he loves her and going on, which I don't know how much you can really say after knowing somebody for like a month or dating them for a month, but to each his own.
In
That's
rehab,
true.
much less,
That's
with all
true.
the exciting outings and dates they must have had.
And bingos. Then we see Amy congratulating the happy bride and groom at the after party where there was a DJ.
You called it an after party.
The reception.
The reception. Where they had a bottle of non-alcoholic wine.
Yes. A DJ, aka a speaker, and probably like a Bluetooth connection to an iPhone.
They had this music on, and everybody there, with the exception of like 3 people, are in their wheelchairs, and they're just
they're having fun.
like it's like the saddest thing ever, but everybody looks happy. I mean, at least they're doing something other than bingo, I guess. I don't know, like
Right.
but yeah, Amy's toast. Amy's toast was actually okay, let's talk about that for a minute. Amy's toast was actually kind of sweet because she was all choked up, you know, she's emotional, she's whatever, da 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 da.
Was she drunk, do you think?
I don't know.
I don't know. I was just wondering because I feel like she was like tipsy.
Yeah, I
At
mean,
least
she may have
acting
been.
like it.
Yeah.
Maybe they pump the oxygen up a little bit.
Maybe it's just she hadn't slept because of the babies and Michael's useless, so I don't
Yeah.
know.
Oh,
possibly.
okay. Yeah.
You know?
mean Tammy. You mean Tammy.
Huh? What? No, I'm
I
talking
don't
about
know.
Amy
I'm
during
tired. I'm tired.
Amy's.
It's 8:00 in Arizona. 8:49.
Yeah, what
What
time
time is it?
Arizona?
7:40.
Do you know what time I wake up?
Shit.
Anyways.
I wake up at 6. Shut up. Okay, you wake up earlier than that. Never mind. Anyway, so she goes on, she has this whole long toast. She's really choked up about it, and she's going on about how, like, you know, the only thing that like she wanted was babies, and now look at her, she has her babies. And the thing Tammy wanted was, you know, to be happy, and look at her now, she's happy, and just
Yeah.
like how far they've come. And I was like, okay, I was all up in my feels in
Yeah, me
that
too.
rehab wedding. Like,
And then
I
it
was right
quickly
there.
ended. And when she said that she was holding in a fart and then let it out, I was like, and my emotions have now.
And scene.
I am no longer feeling mushy.
Welcome to the family, Caleb.
Yeah.
Is yeah, she farted at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did we see
so
Amanda hitting on that guy Corey's wife or
that guy just
Corey?
random. He was labeled as Tammy's friend.
Yeah. That was a little weird.
I don't know. Whatever. Go on with your bad self. Go find yourself a romance.
Yeah.
You know, both of those sisters just divorced the brothers. So remember, because they were married to brothers.
Like, so we were talking about a family tree and how they don't really have a family tree. It's more like a circle because everyone's like, you know, 2 sisters are married to 2 brothers and it just kind of loops around. But yeah, I guess that's no longer the thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, then that's basically the end of the episode. We see them rolling off in their wheelchairs with the soda cans tied behind it, and the sign on the on the door saying "Do not disturb." ... No, really, don't.
And she's really excited about, like, they get to like share the same room and everything now, like, and sleep next to each other, wake up next to each other. I'm like, oh, that's so
that sounds like fucking torture, and that's
sad. And, like, they're in the separate beds.
Yep.
I wouldn't want to see someone that much.
You're so
You wouldn't want
funny.
to see somebody that much. I know, right?
Not in that small room. Like, you came in like, oh geez, that'd be terrible. Oh,
Yeah.
goodness.
So yeah.
So that was it.
Yeah.
But it was like it was the saddest wedding, but it was also like one of the sweetest things. Like I was very confused emotionally about this episode.
It was sweet. And I get like why they wanted to do it there so their friends could be there that were still in the rehab center. I wouldn't have done it, but yeah.
Take your bets. Are they gonna last?
No.
Chris?
No, I don't think so.
Rob? No.
No.
Hanekawa?
No.
Yeah.
No one thinks they're gonna last. Okay.
Nope.
All right.
I mean, I hope for it. Like my soul and my optimism is like, yes, they're gonna do it.
I would
But
like
then
them
the
to work.
reality sets in, and it's like, no.
Yeah. All right. My 600-pound life.
Yes.
Patrick with the above the law tattoo and the guns tattoo. It looks like
I didn't even notice that. Where were the?
It looks like a prison tat. It's on his calf. I got it when he was getting out of the truck at one of the places. I was like, what?
Yeah.
He's talking about hurting. Oh, when he underestimated the drive to Houston, which everybody does. Before the fast food on the way to Houston, which also everybody does. Both.
So
are
Chris,
bingo
I don't know if you know,
squares.
Katrina plays 600-pound bingo. Do you know about this? I don't know if she mentioned it in the last episode.
My 600-pound life bingo, right? Like, well, we do it with sisters too, but where we play bingo, we have all these different squares on, like things like spot the CPAP, your CPAP machine, spot the potty chair was one for a long time, holes in clothing,
fast food on the way to
fast
Houston.
food on the way to Houston. For a while we had one that was like sitting on the in a van or truck, like a moving van or a moving truck, because they always like just sit on the floor there. And then like things like that, right? Like Dr. P was one. Anyway, underestimating the drive time.
Sounds like
Houston.
a fun game.
Wait, so I don't know if you said this because you cut out a little bit in my headset, but did you say the shower scene?
Yes, that's one of them.
Okay.
That is one of them.
Is that the free space? Because that's like
No, the free space. The free space is hi. How y'all doing?
It's not.
Hello, hail down.
That's a good one.
I was gonna say if they have to climb any stairs to get to the shower, or like for some death-defying balance act to get in there.
A lymphedema or mysterious rash is generally one of them.
Mysterious rash.
Some kind of mystery rash, like because there's just all these weird things on parts. And we don't always know what everything is. It's just this mystery. It's not like the episode where it was clear, like when the woman had maggots on her inner.
I did not see this, or I don't remember seeing that.
It's a
one.
really old episode. I'll have to find it for you.
Mhm.
But yeah, she legit had maggots. I don't remember if she's the same one that had the sandwich in her folds or not. But Rosie the nurse, she's a bingo square. Some of these were like squares before they became like absolutes. Like before there was like a more of a mixture of not things you were going to be guaranteed, but things that like, could happen. And then there was very formulaic after a while. It was always Dr. P. We didn't see Lola anymore. I'm sorry that happened to you, Lola. We didn't see her.
She was sweet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We always call her Lola. I'm sorry that happened to you, therapist, because she always says that.
Yeah.
But like there was a time when it wasn't always Dr. P. Now it's only Dr. P. This is like the only one we see, and stuff like that. So so some things were just like are guaranteed we're gonna get now. Before we didn't.
I feel like
have a shower
it's
scene.
followed much more of a structured format this season than I've noticed in any other seasons. Of course, they always do the shower scene. There's certain things that they always do, but I feel like I'm watching almost the same episode every time from the moment they do the shower scene, the breakfast. And it's a lot more, I don't know.
It's very rigid.
Cutter.
Very much so.
And Dr. Now is a lot nicer on this season. I know we talked about that in the last podcast, but I feel like we're not getting the crazy remarks so much that he used to say. But he's holding back. I feel like he's just like,
I'm proud of you for that. And then they show him in the hallway.
Like, he's like holding into everything he wants to say, but he's like taking a breath and just calming down for a second. I don't know. That's what I noticed.
Anyway,
we digress. So we meet Patrick, who is 42 years old in Columbus, Georgia. His weight is unknown.
He's a real country boy.
Yeah. Then we see the camera angle they always do, unflattering camera angle, which I'm sorry for all. Yeah, because that's just, feel bad for you guys. All of us women were just like, let me have our phones up here. Let's do like an angle. And then there's like on the floor camera.
Literally.
Right.
Yeah. At least she was wearing underwear, unlike that one woman.
Yeah, I know. They did her so bad. Oh my God. Do they make you adjust your clothes to make them look tighter?
They pull them back.
I can't say.
Okay. Okay. Yep. No problem. We're just gonna.
You have to sit comfortably in the chair,
So we meet his wife, Amanda, who is helping him take a shower and get dressed. Now we find out that they have been married for 20 years. And a lot of people on Reddit, I jumped on Reddit briefly to see what people were saying about this episode. And I don't know if you did it as well, Chris, if you were able to like get on Reddit and look.
Oh, yeah, I did.
A lot of people thought that she was on drugs. She was nodding off.
100%. 100%.
She was on drugs.
Yeah.
100% she's on drugs. You see how like her eyes are just like slits like every single time. 100%.
Yeah,
we were playing she's still sleeping. JJ, every time they switch over, she'd be like, still asleep. Still sleeping. Every time it would go back over to her, she'd be like, still sleeping.
So do you think she was sleeping when hubby was boning the neighbor and produced,
I would say,
produced that kid?
Oh man.
That's an interesting scenario, isn't it?
Yeah.
You thought your situation was funny, was unusual, Chris.
Yeah.
Patrick's scenario was like, oh yeah, sorry, I boned the neighbor, and oops, now I have a daughter.
And she was actually pretty nice to the daughter on camera, at least.
Oh yeah,
So,
totally.
which a lot of people would be maybe like have a lot of resentment towards that, but whatever. Good for her.
Be resentful towards the child. It's not the child's fault.
Well, no, but my ex-boyfriend in college, his dad cheated on his mom and had his dad cheated on his wife with his mom.
Okay.
So he was the bastard child, and his stepmom or whatever didn't want anything to do with him for a long time.
Well, she's a bitch then.
Exactly.
She's totally.
You never know how people are gonna, react in any situation. So, yes, we know Amanda's on drugs. We don't know what kind.
Definitely. I'm downers.
Narcotics.
I'm gonna get a guess.
Narcotics.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess Xannies, or not Xannies, probably Roxy's. That's just my guess.
It's probably how she dealt with everything.
Probably.
It was pretty heavy.
I'll be honest.
Bloodshot, really bad.
At some of the scenes, I thought Patrick was also. I'll be honest. I thought Patrick might have been on something as well in some of the scenes.
He could very well have been. He was. It's not unusual, right? Like we saw the Asante brothers, we saw him, but there's other ones too that have a lot of other ones and ones that I'm sure they don't talk about, but I know I can spot the behavior.
Yeah.
The drug seeking behavior and the other things, and even not just drug seeking. I mean, addicts can spot other addicts, right? So, I mean, so yeah, it's not unusual necessarily. So
then we go from the shower scene to
the breakfast scene,
the making breakfast, but we do learn a little bit about his family history. He said that he was obese as a child, and his whole family was. He talks about his dad being obese and actually getting the surgery, but then having it reversed. And his trauma seems, it's traumatic to him, but it wasn't like, Chris, your situation where you're moved around and just like that was
Chris
crazy.
Had legitimate trauma.
Right. And I don't want to compare, different traumas because I know
it's not a competition.
Right. And it's your own experience. And so I'm not downplaying his at all. But we don't have that, history of like sexual abuse or the abandonment, that kind of stuff, as we've seen in other episodes. He did say his mom left his dad for another woman, and then his dad eventually did pass away. So we see him eating breakfast, and he's drinking like an orange juice that looks like a big gulp size orange juice like you get from 7-Eleven. I was like, that's the biggest orange juice I've seen.
Milk?
Right? No milk. I hate milk. When I saw you chug that milk, by the way, I almost threw up. I was like,
I've always loved milk. I don't drink it at all anymore. Like I haven't had milk since that day. Like I just don't drink milk anymore at all.
Okay.
It's too many calories, too much fat, and I just cut it out.
Can I ask you about that big old bowl of pasta?
Oh yeah,
I love pasta.
Well, yeah, I love pasta too. And then we had, pasta is great, but did you eat that whole serving bowl, or was that just for the cameras?
Oh, I ate it.
Okay,
You did.
Yeah.
How many bread, like slices of bread, did you make? How many sandwiches out of?
I would have used them all. I don't remember if I did it all of them. Because like they are filming, so they want angles and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So you eat and stop. But I could honestly be a competitive eater. So like I don't know about other episodes, but like for mine, they're like just make the biggest meal that you would, just get the biggest meal that you would normally eat. And I was like, okay, I'll just make my normal meal, and everybody will be blown away. So that's what I did. Another one, I could have got those big party trays of lasagna. Let's just throw those in the oven, take it out, just eat the whole pan.
Wow. I really thought when you put that down
that
you it was going to be served out, like that was
Well, I said it in front of everybody first, and then it cuts to it just being in front of me when you look at it.
Yeah, and then we're like, but the milk thing was funny because my stepdaughter was asking me. She loves milk. She goes through tons and tons of milk, and she's about to turn 14, just for her age reference. And she's always got this obsession with, can you drink a whole gallon of milk in a minute, or whatever the thing is. It was like from a TV show or something. I don't remember. And so she was asking something about it. And then she knows that we've been doing and talking to people from my 600-pound life, and so she was wondering if somebody who was morbidly obese could do it, could drink milk. And I like that quickly, whatever. And I remember asking Wes, and he was like, "Oh, I don't drink milk." Oh. And then watching your episode, and you've got the whole gallon of milk right there next to you, and I was like, "Yes, I gotta show this to her." So
I couldn't drink the whole gallon and eat the vat of spaghetti. I couldn't do both of those. I did drink like, it was probably like a quarter of it, because the top's not as much as the bottom of the actual milk itself, or maybe down to half, but I definitely didn't drink it all, because then you're kind of pushing
you wouldn't normally drink it out of the carton like that, right? Like
no.
Okay. That was
Wait, I don't have dishes, so like additionally, like I only have like a couple cups, because only ever just me and the kids. So like my mom being there and just everything going on, and I was like, just give me the jug.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Well, you made for good TV, that's for sure.
Yeah.
The
cute emojis from that milk are insane, honestly.
Oh.
Okay.
All right. So then we talk about him cheating on his wife with the other woman, getting pregnant. He said that he used to work at an electric company digging ditches at 400 pounds, which I find that extremely impressive if that's the truth, because at my weight now, I mean, I get tired when I bend over. Like when I had a baby, I'm like, oh, I'm out of breath. Pick her up.
You're tired digging in the sandbox with Kaya.
Yeah.
Like, I could see doing that. Like when I was around 400 pounds, with how active I became, and because I also had to get up and then past 400 pounds, I could definitely see doing something like that. But I mean, you still consume a lot. It's really bad for your health, but it's definitely possible if he definitely has the body built, like the height and everything for that weight to be able to do that.
To be distributed. Oh, and also Wes was talking about how you got out of bed, how you like kicked it up, right?
Yeah,
I didn't realize this. Until we talked about it. So I found that I actually kick myself up too. Not like that much.
You all do this?
Oh, but it was like more of a recent thing, because I've gained a lot of weight since having a child, like a lot, like a significant amount of weight. And so my body moves differently now. But no, I literally have to like kind of do one of those things to like get up. And I'm like, oh, I do it too. I'm like, oh my God. But you're fast. You were actually,
you move
really
well
fast
for a big guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not supposed to talk about things, but like there was times like I had to slow down, or I was going to run the cameraman over. Like, because I just normally walk fast. But for me, like everybody sees that as fast. For me, it sees I need to get to the next place, because I'm gonna burn out. I'm gonna get exhausted. It's gonna be uncomfortable. So I went quickly to where I was at.
The quicker I can get there, the quicker I can sit the fuck down.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
You become a momentum of yourself.
Yes.
Yep.
Ain't no door's gonna stop me.
Body in motion stays in motion, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, so then we see him going on disability. He talks about that when he got too big. So they decide to take a trip to see Dr. Now in Texas, which is an 11-hour drive with no stops. And what do they do, Katrina? You got a bingo square. No, I was like that too, but then they got their fast food.
They got their fast food, and they underestimated the amount of time. But he was like, I'm going to go out with a bang. I'm going to get 16 chicken sandwiches and the popcorn shrimp, and all. Like, okay,
were they at Popeyes? I was trying to figure out.
Popeyes.
Okay, so I don't eat, now that I don't eat meat for a long time, I don't really go to fast food very often, so I don't know, unless it's like
I don't do fast food, like
like fries or something. So I'm like,
screws with my gut
like
too
Popeyes. Oh, okay,
I have enough gut issues that if I start, I'm like,
Gotcha.
Remember, I don't poop, so I'm trying to
I
have to make sure I'm eating the right kinds of nutrients to help balance all of that.
Yeah.
So
all right, well, we see him arriving in Houston. He weighs 657 pounds, which was shocking to him. He didn't realize he was that big. And Dr. Now and him are discussing his medical history, like diabetes and sleep apnea. And Dr. Now asks what he does all day, and he admits he sits on his ass. So that was one of the honest things he says. And he still eats candy with diabetes. And then Dr. Now is going on some whole like this discussion about hitting yourself in the head with a baseball bat and then wanting like medication, and then he's talking about rockets up his ass, and I'm like, what is going on?
Okay,
the
analogies, because he's like has diabetes, but he's sitting there eating candy, like
right,
Cadbury mini eggs, right? He's sitting there. I'm a sucker for
You
Easter
eat
candy.
the worst freaking candy, Katrina.
I know.
No, you eat
And listen to me talking about not
no.
eating
At least
fast food, but I'm eating.
No, but I'm saying
pizza.
like eat like a Snickers or like a good candy bar. You eat fucking Peeps. That's disgusting.
It's
so
Who eats
gross.
Peeps?
I do.
Right?
I know.
And candy corn. You're
I
a
know, and I'm
monster.
sitting here talking. I'm the guy with banging my head against a base with a baseball bat because I'm
It's like
complaining
you're
about my
eating
gut
Peeps
health.
and complaining you can't shit.
Right?
Like that's where the Peeps are.
I can't
Lodged in your gut, and they're not
I
going
can't,
anywhere.
I can't poop anyway. Like I don't poop anyway, so I might as well eat the packet of Peeps, right? Like
Then
My
you guys
God.
all look mortified when I'm like telling you guys about how I used to light Peeps on fire when I was little, and you guys thought I was some kind of like
I've done that
pyroman
before.
sociopath.
it's not though. It's like
Lighting
burn
Peeps
really
on
It's like a
easy.
light source. If the power goes off, you got Peeps. Especially if
Peeps
they're
burn
hard.
very easy.
exactly, and they burn weird. Thank you. I'm not the only one. Okay, so
Yeah.
somebody else lit Peeps on fire.
Yeah.
Oh, anyways. Okay.
So,
then
it's Easter candy. I don't do it like it's the Cadbury mini eggs and the Peeps or the oh god, the marshmallow with the chocolate dip. Like
what are you talking about? What
the
marshmallow?
candy. Candy. It's like a marshmallow.
She's talking
with
about like
chocolate.
Malamars or something like that. Is
Yeah,
that
like
what
that.
those things are?
Disgusting, Katrina. Where
Yeah.
I don't want to
Those
go trick
three
or treating.
things.
No,
Those
I'm never
three
trick or
things,
treating at your house. Okay,
I'm a sucker.
I'm
No,
never
I get
trick-or-treating at your
different
house.
stuff for the kids, but no, that's like those are like my weakness candies, and they're all out right now. And so, yeah.
Where's your Reese's?
I don't
That's
eat
good. Reese's, Twix. You know, like,
Reese's is the
I'll
only
eat
candy that I
those-
like.
I'll eat
really?
those
You
at
put them in the
work.
Yeah.
freezer. They're good.
I like
I'll
the
eat 'em-
Christmas tree, the holiday ones, because they have less
Mhm.
chocolate.
Yes, there's more peanut butter in them.
Yeah.
I totally get what you're saying. Yep.
I'll eat those at work because my boss has like a bowl of candy in his office, like all the minis and stuff. So I'll eat those at work, but I don't generally like.
I'm just thinking about
I
what
honestly don't like. Since I've tried to really like revamp my diet and stuff
Yeah.
because of my gut health, I really don't eat candy much at all.
Mhm.
But right now, with the Easter candy, those are my my weaknesses. So
Yeah.
I bought about a packet of mini egg. Well, I bought two because there were two for whatever at CVS. So, that'll be it. I'll eat it over the course of the weekend, and
Yeah. Okay.
hopefully be done with it. But yeah, I don't eat a ton of it, and yeah, because again, trying to get my gut health under control. It's bad enough not pooping. Like, let me try to help it a little bit.
Oh.
But yeah, so he was saying, oh, he's diabetic, but he sits and eats candy. That's the same thing as a guy sitting there banging his head with a baseball bat and asking for like headache medicine rather than just stopping banging
Right.
your head. But like with other kinds of addiction, you're food addicted. You can't just say, oh, just don't eat. Like,
right.
just
Like
eat
you're an
less.
alcoholic. Just stop drinking. Like,
Yeah, just eat less.
Right.
Right? Like, sorry.
yeah. And
Okay.
I will say too, on this episode, he didn't once offer this guy therapy, and that pissed me off. And I'm sure he did. It was cut out, or there was some. For all we know, he saw Dr. Paradise, and it was just cut out or something. But I'm like, this guy has major addictions. He's not that successful in his weight loss. He's just doing the bare minimum to get through. But hello, like he needs.
I was really
more
surprised that he was
assistance.
actually approved for the surgery.
Me too.
at the
I
end.
was too. I was like, this guy is. Yeah.
I didn't expect the approval. We knew because we seen that little black the text that comes up. It's like surgical procedures, and I was like, no way.
They do that at the beginning of every episode, though. I thought,
Well,
right?
they wait until the commercial, like the little break, and then they put it. So we knew before we even got approved.
Okay.
Because I didn't see that coming. I didn't see him getting the surgery at all.
No, because he was doing the thing where he was losing weight a little bit, and then he was like, well, and I kind of cheated here, and I kind of cheated here, which is what they always do, right? Like, oh, I've been following the diet, I've been doing well, but like right as they're getting closer to that arriving at Dr. Now's office for the next appointment, they're always like, well, I might have cheated a little bit, and so he was doing that, and then was it when he and Dr. Now got in the altercation?
Yeah. I can tell when they first go in, like the things they say and the way they talk about what they're doing, how how well they're going to do in most of the episodes. Like you can they'll come
There's
in for
like
a visit,
there's
like
like a
next one's gonna be
trend.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, especially if they
100%.
like start messing up big time in the beginning. And then
Mhm.
there's always like this like 2-minute turnaround, which is really like a 3 weeks time span. And they go, I'm gonna get my shit together, and then they go forward. It's
Yeah.
like the same.
Which is why actually when we watched Wes's episode, because his first weigh-in, he didn't lose weight, I don't think, or maybe it was a couple pounds. I
Right.
was thinking to myself, uh-oh, this isn't going to be good. He's not going to do it.
Right.
And then it was like, boom, he, kicked it into
Yeah.
gear. But yeah, for the most part, you can just tell by their attitudes for sure. And
Well, yeah, and when they start out
overall-
with like, oh, my knees, they're already complaining about pain and stuff,
right.
like they're setting that up for, oh, later that's going to be their excuse.
And that's
Yep.
actually what happened in this episode. So we meet,
Didn't have
Dr.
any
Now's
dishes.
talking. He's talking to Amanda and he's asking like who gets the food, basically who's the enabler, yada yada. But before they even leave Dr. Now's office, he made a comment, something like, we have a lot of parties coming up and a lot of things happening.
Yep.
So I don't know how my weight loss is gonna do this next month or whatever. But it wasn't like an on the fly, or it wasn't like a voiceover that was recorded after it aired. It was literally an OTF, like right there in the office.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
He's already like
Right.
not
Making excuses.
treating it as the way that he needs to be treating it as, which is shifting everything, changing
Yeah.
everything. It's, oh, well, I have this, and this, and I'm not going to be able to. No, well, if you're changing your life, yes, you do have to. You still can go to these things. Everything's based around food. Okay. Well, it doesn't have to. You can change that,
Yeah.
You can change what you eat, just because that's the way it's always been doesn't mean that's the way it needs to continue to be.
Yep.
Yep. So then they leave the office and we fast forward to month 3 where he's eating breakfast. It looks like some scrambled eggs and bacon. And he's talking about how he sold his house in Georgia. I guess the market was hot and the diet was, not going so well.
Well, they packed up their dishes,
their
so he
dishes.
couldn't cook.
The book was in a box. The book was in a
The
box.
book was
I
in
think,
a
at this
box, so I
point.
couldn't read it.
Yes.
So I had to eat, fried chicken.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, a lot of excuses. And he asked Dr. Now
dishes.
for an extra month because of moving.
Uh-huh.
So of course,
which
Dr.
is
Now-
what they start to do when they know they need more time
Mhm.
because they haven't been doing what they need to do.
Yep. And so Dr. Now said, sure, but you have to lose an extra 30 pounds. Fair, because at his size, 30 pounds a month shouldn't be difficult.
30 pounds 1 month.
Yep. You do a really good accent, by the way. Yes. So let's see, where am I? I have my glasses on and everything, and I still can't read.
Hello, how y'all doing?
Okay, so his weight loss goal is 40 pounds, I guess, for before the next appointment. And Dr. Now said that his goal weight overall should be between 190 to 200 pounds for his height. Okay. So then we flash forward to month 5. And the family tries to go camping. I'm not even getting into this. It doesn't work out. He can't breathe. They leave, pack it up and leave. Which I'd be pissed if I put up the tent though, and then I had to go. I'm like, I don't know. What did you think about that? The camping scene? Production?
I can't I feel like that was definitely something that they something you like to do. Oh, we like to do camping. And then they were like, oh, that's what we're doing next. Like, it just seemed like, oh, we're here and then now we're leaving. Like, what? I don't that it didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like that was just a day to like film something is what it felt like, if I'm being completely honest.
Just filler for the show.
Yeah. Sometimes or it was a whole day and then they cut so much of it that it just seems shortened. Like I don't know. I think they film and then hope that it comes together at the end.
Yeah. So they go camping and then let's go for a walk. Okay.
Yeah.
Go for a walk when you're I mean, that just seems weird. Like, I understand, like, I don't know, like, let's look around our campsite, but like going for a walk as an activity while you're camping seems weird. Like, let's go for a walk after dinner at home. That seems normal. go for a
Yeah,
walk. We just set
like
up our
going
tent.
walking when I camp sometimes. Like I used to go camping a lot, like when I was younger, and like we would just go hike around the trails. And I mean, he wasn't doing no hiking around trails, but
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
you know, but the whole thing just seems odd for me when I watch it, like a lot of the episodes, because none of them, most of them don't seem dedicated to losing weight, let alone dedicated to doing those extracurricular activities, and then end up failing or doing terribly or gaining weight or any of that stuff. And that's where I get like a big disconnect when I would watch the show, and why I didn't want, like, for me doing my own, like I don't want those things. Like the gym, I'm not going to say whether they did or didn't want me to go to the gym, but let's say they did want me to go to the gym. If I wasn't getting a full membership to continue to going, I would not do a scene like that.
Because you wanted to be as transparent and honest. Is that what you're saying? That like you
I'm
wanted
not
to
go to the
represent
gym one time.
Like if I'm going to the gym, I'm going to the gym. Like you're going to give me a gym membership.
You're giving me a personal trainer to do this every week, or am I going, well, oh, then I don't want to do something like
that. I admire that.
Hypothetically.
I do admire that though, that you were able to kind of just like put your foot down and do what you wanted to do, I guess.
Exactly. I wanted it to be me. That's all I wanted. And that's why I say I don't know what they do on other episodes, or if they coerce people into doing other things. That could be the case, but I just let them know at the beginning of like, it's going to be things that I do before they even said anything. So I don't even know if they do that, but I told them it's things that I actually do, or I won't do it.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
I just remembered you had your curtains on upside down. Why? On your windows.
In the house. Oh, because I was fat and lazy. It were really easy to hang up on the hooks.
No, but
they had these like things at the bottom, and I had it like stapled towards the top, and then the rings at the bottom helped weigh it down to keep it against the wall. Because it had like the rings.
The rings are supposed to be on top.
Yeah, it had to be flat against the wall because it blacked out the whole room.
Because you're a hermit or a vampire?
Yeah. Okay. Yes, very much.
I mean, I saw the all the soundproofing.
I was gonna say vampire or gamer, because you don't want to stream with that fucking light coming in. That's
exactly.
All of a sudden, all your lighting is stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, I had all the soundproofing and stuff because I used to stream on Twitch and like stream all my games for my friends and stuff.
You and Hanekawa should hook up on Twitch.
Yeah, I don't play any more games.
Like my Twitch is
not like I did anymore.
Gotcha.
Your Twitch is what?
My Twitch is dusty.
I thought you said it was nasty. I was like, oh, I haven't been there in a while. Let me see what Hanekawa's doing over
nasty
on Twitch.
Doing
a little
my hot tub streams now.
Yeah, hot tubs.
Like you game, I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm better in some games than you, but I just like the hot tub, okay? Jesus.
Her cat lady person sits in the hot tub.
Oh, my the VTuber model, yeah. I go back and forth with that one. If I want to be seen or not.
Yeah.
Closest I get to video games is I watch The Last of Us. And I will play some like Mortal Kombat. I will play some WWE 2K.
I thought you were gonna say you were gonna go play The Last of Us. I was like, okay.
No.
I told you my story about how I sold it after I bought it years ago when it first came out, because it came with the PlayStation and it scared me. And I love horror stuff, but I was scared and I sold it, and I so regret it now because it's worth so much money.
It's the best kind of scared. That's funny. I would love to see that.
I like lived by myself and I was just like scared. It was dark. I don't know. Things were popping out. Like I just remember the opening scene and there was like a girl in the house, or it was carrying or something. I'm like, nope. Nope.
Oh Lord. Anyway. I live in a house of gamers, but I am not one myself. TV.
I've been trying to play my Assassin's Creed Black Flag for about 10 years whenever it came out. And then you get so far in the game and then it's like I get distracted in ADD and then I forget where I left off and then I don't know how to use the controller anymore because it's been 3 years since I picked it up. And then
I think that's the last one that I got before I left Rhode Island. That was the last game that I purchased before I left
Black Flag.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Being the last game that I played before I left. I don't know why I remember that. I just remember like getting it all started and starting to play it, and then I had never finished it because I moved.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Back to the show. But we digress.
It's month 6. He's back in Houston, and of course he's saying he's sick and he could have done better on his diet and that he had the flu. And Dr. Now was basically like, well, the flu would cause you to lose weight, most people. And he's like, not me, not me. So
you're special and unique.
He's retaining water.
Right, exactly.
Water weight.
So
Water
his
weight,
current
Dr.
weight,
Now, do you believe in God, Dr. Now?
so he weighs 642 for a recent weight gain of 25 pounds. Yeah. All right.
Mm-hmm. And then do they get in another argument here where he's like, don't come back here unless you're actually serious about losing weight, go somewhere local.
So then,
or was that the next?
Well, no, it's the next one, because then he says, once Dr. Now says, you should lose weight. Then he all of a sudden says he's been having chest pains that he never mentioned to the doctor the whole time, which I feel like if you're having chest pains, that's number one. You should probably notify your practitioner.
And when it's bullshit made up chest pain to pretend like, oh, this because of this, I can't do stuff because you're not thinking your lie through all the way.
So of course, Dr. Now is asking into the chest pain, more questions that he can't answer because he looks confused and now he's having to make stuff up, and that it just comes and goes at random times of the day.
Was that the one where he looked like he was having chest pain and crying towards the end of it? I went to the bathroom, so I only heard and came back, and I seen just the end of it, and I was like, is he crying because he's having chest pains right now?
No, he was crying at the end, more towards the end of the episode than this particular month, but he did end up crying later on. But yeah, Dr. Now's like, he was kind of being disrespectful to Dr. Now.
He was.
And the way he was talking to him. Right.
Oh, it was being really mean.
Yeah. And of course, Dr. Now is like, we gave you the instructions and you haven't done anything with it. So I didn't even write down all the things he said because they were just ridiculous and stupid.
Yeah, he was just snapping back with anything.
No, you're right. Because then he started crying. Okay. So next note, he started crying. You're right. And I was like, why isn't Dr. Now offering therapy? It's month 6. But he told him to get the EKG. Patrick's like, I won't come back. I'm not coming back. And his wife is like, yes, you will. Like, all like slow. Yeah. Like,
she woke up for a half second.
Where am I?
Still sleeping.
Awake? Is she still sleeping? Is she awake?
Yep. Okay. So then he complains. He's saying, well, you just gave me a piece of paper and a book and that's it. Which that's what I wanted to ask you about. So he gave you the book, instructions on what to do. Did you feel like you weren't given enough tools and resources from Dr. Now? I know you did your own research, but do you feel like you were provided enough?
No.
Okay.
I don't believe that there's enough support for anybody who's at 600 pounds. And again, this is just my experience that goes into anything like this, anywhere. I do not believe there's even close to enough support for the things that you need to be taught, the things you need to understand, whether you're getting surgery or not. Absolutely not. There's no way. Like just
like a nutritionist and a therapist.
Yeah,
like
a nutritionist, a therapist, somebody explaining to you the different way foods work with your body, or at least somebody creating those meals and getting that structure for you. Like if you don't do it past that, then you don't want it. But I really feel that there was a big lack of stuff, and I'm glad that I looked into it myself. But yeah, I don't believe that they give enough. And it sucks even more because when you are there and you have cameras, you are really motivated. You are completely convinced in yourself what you're doing. But when you go home, 48 hours after you go home, you're right back into your same situation with the same feels. That's when it's hard.
And that's where it's like the root cause. When I see Dr. Now and his patients, I feel like the root cause is never really addressed in his office. Yes, he says to some people go to counseling and things like that. I know I follow Dr. Smith, who's the bariatric surgeon that we see on 1000 Pound Sisters. And I've been following him on Instagram, and he has support groups constantly. He's engaging. He's doing podcasts with education. His patients. Yeah. It seems like it's a different type of environment, I guess, for him as a bariatric surgeon. It seems like there's like a lot more follow through, I guess you could say, or a lot more.
I feel like there's more supportive resources. I mean, I feel like at a bare minimum, you should have a therapy, and you should have a nutritionist.
Yeah,
that
seems like
dietitian,
right?
some people who can explain to you how foods work and break down in your body. I mean, obviously, you're not going to go like become get a degree in nutrition or whatever, but you need to have the basics of macros, and it's not just a calorie count, like protein and carbs and fruit and all of it. And this is why there's no fruit on this diet, because Lexi and I are both very pro fruit. So
oh yeah, I strawberries, bananas, apples, like
we
there's
have
nothing wrong with any of that.
I
have issues with
not on the diet thing, but I mean, I get it sort of, but in any case, the reason why, because breaks down into sugar and carbs and but you need to have all that explained to you, because otherwise you think, oh, fruit's healthy,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and plus the foods in the book are so boring. I don't make any of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I gotta get a copy of his book.
It's all boring. It's good. It's a diet, but you're not creating a new lifestyle off the meals in that book.
Yeah.
Unless you're a very boring person.
Yeah.
You have to be very boring. It's
like,
just
what
it's
kinds
not
of
good.
foods? Like, what would it suggest for you? Like,
I mean,
make
some
an egg
eggs or a piece of chicken, or it's like you just take your base foods and you make just those. Like you just have a piece of meat and like a vegetable. There's nothing there that's like
here's an egg, here had some salsa and some maybe this or that or whatever. Okay,
There are
I'm
so many
600
good
pounds
ways.
with a binge eating disorder and past trauma, and you want me to eat a piece of chicken and a vegetable? That's not fun. I was just eating cheeseburgers 2 days ago.
right.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Okay. Back to the show.
Yeah. I'm glad I asked you that though, because I was curious to know.
Yeah, I've always been very curious on that.
All right, so then we see him getting weighed in again at 591, and he lost 51 pounds. I think that's when he went back to. Wait a second. I'm not usually this disorganized. Oh no, okay. We see Patrick and his wife back in Georgia at a gym. And I don't know why they're back in Georgia. I thought he moved to Houston, but I guess not yet. So whatever. He weighs in at 591, lost 51 pounds, and he FaceTimes Dr. Now to tell him his progress. And then right then, Dr. Now's like, well, you're approved for surgery. And even he looked shocked. He's like, oh.
Yep.
Yeah, it was very like, okay, he hasn't been, he's been not getting there. And then he doesn't get there with this one, but he loses some.
Right.
So he showed he could follow the diet at a bare minimum for a very bare minimum amount of time. So you're approved for surgery. That's just
no therapist. No, it was very shocking to me. And then he said the only stipulation is that he has to lose 30 pounds the next time he sees him or whatever before the surgery. So then the family moves to Houston, and at his next appointment, he weighs in at 590 pounds. So he only lost 1 pound for a total weight loss of 67 pounds. And Dr. Now says, hey, you haven't lost any weight. And then he's like, well, I haven't gained any either. Okay.
Okay, but that's what kind of retort is that? Like
1 pound.
Yeah. I mean, I could take
either. Okay.
I don't even have to poop. I could just pee and probably lose a pound when I wake up.
I can tell you at those weights, your weight can change between 15 and 30 pounds in a matter of 48 hours, just by like, if you eat a big carb and then you drink a lot of water
retention,
you're going to retain almost all that water. Like when they are like, oh, it's water weight, about 20 pounds. When you're 500 plus pounds, you can move your weight by 20 pounds in 48 hours just on pure water.
I believe it. After my C-section, I swelled up so much that my doctor put me on, like water pills. And within a day, I lost like 20 some pounds. It was like crazy.
Yeah.
I was peeing it all out. And I'm like, wow. But just the fact that the body can hold on.
That's why I'm always surprised, like when they come in and they don't lose any weight or they stay the same. And it's like, all you had to do was just like do the diet for 1 day and you would have lost more than a pound. Just
right?
1 day.
I think that's probably where he like gets the most pissed. He's like, I made it really easy.
Yeah.
He's like, even if you just fucked up like or ate 3 days before you came here, shipped up before you got here, just
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then Dr. Dow's asking him into his diet, and he says, I only eat twice a day. And Dr. Dow's like, well, are you snacking? No. Okay, listen. It's like, stop lying.
Unless you're crispy with vats of spaghetti, you're definitely snacking.
Yeah, it's like you can eat twice a day, but it could be like insane amount of food, and your body thinks it's starving the rest of the time.
They didn't believe me at first when I told them that I only eat once or twice a day, because I don't like soda, I don't like chips, I mean, I'll have some
You
chips,
don't
but
like
it's not.
chips?
Yeah,
I
that's
will
not like
eat-
a big thing. I can walk past those
Mm.
all day.
Oh, thank God. I hate
Candy, I
chips
can
too.
walk past. Ice cream, cake. I don't care for any of that stuff. But if there's a big like pot of chili, like that's my temptation. Like I'll
It's the
I'll eat
savory
some of that
stuff.
chili. Yeah.
Mhm.
Interesting. I'm the sweets.
I'm
Yeah.
salts all the way. Give me a bag
Yeah.
of chips. I can't buy chips. I can't.
I
I'll eat them all.
I fucking hate candy, but like lasagna. Oh my God.
Yeah. Lasagna. Yeah.
Very hot, savory food is so good.
Oh yes.
Oh,
Yeah. All right.
Anyway.
So Dr. Now then schedules his weight loss surgery in a month and says he has to lose 30 pounds the day, like by the day of the surgery. He'll weigh him at the hospital. And of course, the dude can't even lose 30 pounds. He loses 27 pounds. But I guess that's good enough. And he rounds it up. And so that's now in preparation for the surgery, though, didn't he have to be on a liquid diet for like a couple weeks or something? So how do
Yeah.
you only lose at that weight? If you're on a liquid diet for 2 weeks, how do you only lose 27 pounds?
That's a hard thing to
Because you're not on a
explain.
liquid diet for 2 weeks.
Like,
That's our answer.
Or
he's taking cheeseburgers.
hypothetically, he could have lost that weight at a different time and they just fudged the numbers or something. I mean, I wasn't there for that episode. I'm not sure, but stuff happens.
yeah,
Yeah. Yep. I was
You know
like,
about that?
what are the chances that he actually lost close to the amount of weight he was told to lose, or like on the day of surgery they prep him and everything, and like he's in the footies, the yellow scrubby socks, already and everything. They're not gonna like make him go home, right?
Right.
What are the odds that this guy who's never made his weight once before is going to do it for the day of surgery?
Yeah.
Or did they say, okay, how much did he lose? Okay, let's go back and do it like a pickup and make it look like we recorded this before, and I'll say lose
Yep.
30 pounds.
Have you ever like took pictures like from the show, like because I've done some like past episodes and like compared shots of the cast members to actually see if they visibly see these differences? Like if you can see it,
No.
like yeah, you should
I'd
do
never
that.
taken pictures. I mean, we compare like
a screenshot, from this visit.
Oh, probably.
screenshot from that
Yeah,
visit.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's interesting if you do.
Well, he doesn't look like he lost. I'll be honest. To me, he doesn't look like he lost any weight from like the time he went into the office to the time he was having surgery. And I know like when you're bigger, it's a little bit more challenging to see immediate weight loss.
See the differences.
Right. But to lose almost I think it was 67 pounds, something like lost.
He didn't look, no.
He didn't, to me, look like it. I could be off.
And old sleepy, McSleeperson looked like she gained weight. So
I actually noticed
I've
that
seen
too.
that when they were standing at the scales and like they had that like side shot of her. I was like,
Mm.
did she gain like 80 pounds or something?
Mhm. All the weight he
Which-
lost, she found it.
I thought it was really awesome that your mom and your brother were losing weight too on your
Yep.
episode. Are they still working on themselves and their
No.
weight loss? No. Okay.
You said that
I
they
can't-
did things that you did.
Yeah, they did what I did, and since I did everything here, I'll cook 3 dinners sometimes, some nights. So I'll cook for them, I'll cook for the kids, and then I'll cook for what me and KJ eat. Rob just eats whatever he wants.
Hey, everybody's
guy. Yeah.
everybody's family, how they handle like distribution of that kind of stuff. Like, hey,
I'm like a
How-
masochist when it comes to things that like I need to do. Like I just have to make it as hard as possible. Like, why not just cook 3 dinners when I'm trying to lose weight? I don't know why. It makes me feel like I have control of everything. It makes it a little bit easier.
you are talking to 3 controlling mothers, so
Yes.
I don't
Yes.
know.
Mhm.
This strong, smart women with advanced degrees and children. I think we define control issues.
I tried to give Kaya cauliflower. Trader Joe's has like orange instead of chicken, it's cauliflower. And I air fried it and tried to give her some today. And she was like, Mama, no, rice. I was like, all right, just eat your peas and rice, whatever. Here's some beans for protein. Here's some whatever. I'm not cooking her a whole new meal though, that's for sure. So I credit to you because
Yeah. Hey, hey, look.
good for you. Yeah.
There's unfortunately nothing that I can make that everybody will eat here,
Ah.
which is not possible. And
that's
if there
kinda what
is, it's
happened,
probably
yeah.
too expensive.
When I was vegan, that's kind of how it was too. I made myself dinner and then I made everyone else something else. It was only vegan that would cook steak. I just was in a phase where I didn't want it. I was like, oh, I can't eat it. But yeah, I used to be the machine to make multiple dinners for people's preferences.
A lot.
Yeah.
Never bothered me because I just did it in tandem, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll alter parts of meals for, like, we do HelloFresh, right?
Oh, yeah,
Like,
okay.
so we do that. So like if I'm cooking a meal, like baby step Rotted, she doesn't like mushrooms very much. Like she will eat them, but not a ton of them. So I make her eat them if it's like a sauce, like a mushroom sauce or something. But like there's certain things I'll do. She prefers her carrots not cooked. Like we're doing carrots on the side and I'm cooking carrots or whatever. Like hers I won't cook, and she, there's certain things, neither of my kids like peppers. They don't like the texture of them. So if I'm doing a meal that has peppers, like I won't give them the peppers and onions or whatever. But I won't like generally make a whole new meal unless they just need more food. And then I'm like ridiculous enabler mother. What can I make for you? There's a reason my child went off to college not knowing how to make mac and cheese from a box with the instructions. I know. It's like it's one of the most shameful things about me as a parent.
Just get him the mac and cheese maker bowl. It has the instructions.
I got him the ramen maker bowl.
You put water in, you profit. It's done.
I got him the ramen maker bowl. But like a few months before he left for college, he was trying to make mac and cheese in the kitchen. He had the box, and I was in the living room, and I think he had his girlfriend on FaceTime because that's all they just keep it on FaceTime and like they go about their whatever. They just whatever, and he was still doing it wrong. Like, and I kept having to explain it to him, and he had the instructions. And I'm like, I looked at his girlfriend, and I was just like,
how do you cook mac and cheese wrong? Like, you
I'm wondering this myself.
Noodles and water.
You're supposed to boil the water first, and then put the noodles in. No, he just put it all. He put it all in together, and then it was like, okay, it doesn't matter. I'm like, well, it kind of does, but okay, whatever, And I'm trying to explain, like, it's just like the fact that he got to that age and didn't really know how to make mac and cheese was just really shameful for me.
Or good. I mean, mac and cheese isn't good for you. For good, for not.
Oh, please! This is not like he. I mean, he's a gym rat, so he's really focused on his like macros and shit like that. But
I told you how I lie to Kaya. So I'll make her, if she wants pasta, I put nutritional yeast on it and tell her it's cheese. So she will go and be like, Mama, more cheese. And it's literally nutritional yeast. It looks like cheese when it melts.
Did she ask for tree bark too, like Mommy eats?
No, but Hanekawa was talking about, I was a vegan for 4 years. So you have their little tricks on how you make like different sauces and things. And I mean, it may look like goldfish flakes, like the little fish food, but it tastes pretty good. Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, whatever.
You know what I'm talking about, Hanekawa, right? Nutritional yeast for substitute for cheese sauces.
Yeah, my kid was vegan right along with me.
Yeah, see?
But that was just,
I'm curious as to what this is now myself. I've never like looked into any of that stuff there.
I'll have to send you some information. It's basically it supports your like B vitamins as a vegan. Nutritional yeast is really good for supplementing that. So you can add it to anything to
What in non-vegan foods would it be?
It's basically deactivated yeast.
So what is it like? What am I eating that has the same benefit as a non-vegan?
Anything with
anything with B12.
Yeah.
Dirty fruit.
I eat dirty fruit.
B12
all the time.
Isn't that like the hardest vitamin to like?
Because we wash our vegetables. Since we are so clean, we wash the B12 off most things, which can be found in soil. So
interesting.
And usually supplemented with anything
water.
that eats the vegetables. So meat usually will have B12 in it. Or milk.
Apparently, like our non-organic food is so depleted of nutrition too, or like sprayed off and things like that. That like even people that do eat meat may have a B12 deficiency. So something to think about.
But if
you're tired and
I actually know my
tuna
B12
or salmon,
levels.
Then
I know my B12 levels are actually higher than normal.
That's good.
But I eat a lot of fish and
eggs, things like that.
fish and eggs.
You can always just take a fucking vitamin. You
Yeah.
know,
I
mean,
the
I
spray is
do-
the best for the
I do
yeah.
supplement my stuff with various vitamins and other amino acids and whatever Erica's morning protein shake thing is
Yeah.
that she does. I take that with my protein shake and stuff in the morning. So I don't know. I take a number. I don't know. Lots of supplements to help the MS symptoms. Vitamin D and all that other bullshit. Mushrooms and other fun stuff.
Okay.
I'm actually doing a mushroom complex right now. It's got a bunch of
Okay.
different, and yes, cordyceps is in there.
Oh.
But originally it's lion's mane. But then I started moving out, branching out, and getting more mushrooms so that there's more benefits and stuff. But all that
Very
nootropic
cool.
stuff helps my brain fog, so cognitive issues. So I do that, and then but vitamin D, and I take like turmeric with pepper to help the inflammation, and the big fish vitamin that I take, fish oil stuff,
Fish oil.
yeah, that kind of stuff. Anyway, nothing too
Very
crazy, nothing too crazy, but I do eat meat, unlike
and
you. Peeps and Cadbury mini eggs.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we got to finish up. We've been like, even though this is a supersized episode, this is like,
all right. So month 12, we see him fishing. That's all I wrote. That's it. I wrote they're fishing. That sums up the whole episode.
All right, he gets the surgery and that's it. So we don't know.
That's it. We don't know. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. Both the episodes this week, there was some good stuff about it, but most of it I was just like, like you said, for a season finale, I was like,
That's why I was like
surprised that it's a finale. Honestly, I didn't even know that there was only this little episodes.
Yeah.
But before, okay, I didn't sign any NDA before I was told this, but I was told that they were in the middle of filming. There was like 22 people being filmed. Now that could be like where are they nows and stuff too. But that was like a question. I was like, how many people do you guys film? So that was something they told me before they ever came to my house and I signed anything. So, but I mean, 8. That's like the shortest season I think I've even seen on the show before.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think that people just dropped out, or that it was COVID affected it, or just the fact that the company is being sued? Megalomedia is in the middle
they're
of a...
constantly going to be sued. I mean,
yeah.
My guess would be like just various, like not compelling, not good TV.
But a lot of
various reasons,
not good TV.
They have to drop out for various reasons. I mean,
yeah.
I'm curious to like, or maybe. I don't know. I mean, like I think maybe they didn't list them yet, or like it really ends that soon. Like, and then I'm thinking I wish they would have just made mine last. So like if it ends up being the last episode of like the whole show, that it's like the best episode. Me.
Well, usually it's the penultimate episode is the big one, right? It's the episode right before the final episode. Not the ultimate episode, but the penultimate, the one right before the ultimate sorry, am I speaking a different language here?
I'm like, what are you talking about?
The episode, not the season finale, but it's always the episode before the season finale. Look at Breaking Bad. Look at The Sopranos. Look at all of the big. You're saying. You know what I'm saying? It's the episode before the final one that has all the big stuff, right? So yours was the penultimate episode. Although
there we go.
Wes is going to get mad at us for saying that if we say that was the best. I'm just saying,
no, but you was
the penultimate episode, Chris. It's up to the people who's the best episode. I'm not making it. I'm not making a determination.
My comments say it's me, but I
Wes had a lot of good comments too, and I think that you guys both were my favorite episodes, and you're the only 2 people I reached out to in the whole season, because the other ones I'm just like, no, it's not even worth. I don't know. I like to see success
reach out
stories.
to him, and I want to talk to him about, because like if we both have the same NDA, then we can talk about it. We just
but Wes actually said to make sure we pass along his information to you, so you 2 could connect. So we'll make sure that happens. And it looks like we lost Rob.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
that
kids
they
were
don't...
going crazy, and it was I was
KJ
supposed to be
help.
here. So yeah.
Okay. Well, Thank you so much, Chris, for coming on here, and thank Rob and thank KJ and the kids. We really appreciate you. We're honored, and we appreciate that you chose us to share this information with and to put it out there to the world. Loved having you with us and your commentary on the other episodes, Lexi. Hanekawa.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it. I'm glad we
Thank
could make this happen, and you're willing to share.
Yeah,
your
I've never done
story.
anything like this before, so hopefully I was enough to talk to about things, or
Well, we've been on it for almost
absolutely.
3 hours. I think
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
I think we're all right.
And if you ever want to come back on a future, whatever.
We talk about all kinds of topics and all kinds of things, and we'd love to see how you're doing later. And then, of course, if KJ wants to come on and the three of you guys want to talk about your relationship, we do an episode just on that. That would be fantastic too. We're open to anything.
Mhm.
Just like your mama, Lexi. So
My mama, don't talk about my mama like that.
oh, sorry, just like Kaya's mom.
Oh, goodness.
Whatever.
Chris, tell the people where to find you.
I'm on Instagram. I'm on YouTube. Well, I'm going to be more on YouTube, but Instagram, YouTube. I don't really do Twitter, but I'm there too. TikTok.
The username.
It's all chris.losingit. All of them.
Or
Oh,
chris.losingit.
That's
Yes.
easy.
And we will link all those below.
Awesome.
Awesome. And again, thank you so much. We look forward to hearing from you more and just seeing more of your journey. Thank you guys.
Mhm.
Thank you.